I love Allie. She's so funny.
So good, right?
That is good, yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely want to go to that next week.
I can't wait.
She lost a guy, lost a lease, lost her cool in NYC. Grabbed a suitcase, said why not? This town's dead, I need a new plot. Train doors slam, new town stare. Witch hats, tourists everywhere. She's got jokes, zero plan, and a dream even she doesn't understand. She's in a witch city, where the dead don't sleep until the show comes to an end, or you're 6 feet deep. Yeah, it's a witch city. Open mics at night. If you bomb, they laugh. If you kill, they delight. It's Halloween here, night after night. She's in a witch city.
It feels like there's a lot more pop for whatever they got going on. Even the open mic nights, like the people got funnier. It just seems like there's a buzz. McClaskey there is running around doing weird things. He edited that whole
The one
trailer.
that she just... Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I like it a lot. I think that it's not color graded yet. I think they could work on their color grading.
Yeah, but it's like a first sort of run, too.
Yeah, dude.
And now
Like that's the
you're
first
all about
one.
like color grading right now, too.
Right,
so
it's
I feel
all
like
in my
it's,
mind.
like,
That's
the
all I'm
first
thinking
thing you
about right
notice.
now. It's what I'm focusing on.
That's fair.
Last time we checked in with you, you hadn't gone to Miami for the first time yet.
Yeah, that's like fucking wild.
I know.
That is like
Look
kind
at
of...
you.
and
You're
now
all
I've been-
sun-kissed. You're like fucking buzzing.
Yeah.
How was it?
Miami's sick.
Yeah?
Have you guys been?
No.
No, Miami's dope. There's a lot going on, like at all points, and yeah, it's like a different way of living down there. No one's as miserable because it's just like warm.
So
the majority
related
of the
to me,
time.
because I lived in Atlanta. How much? So like I get the South and I get the heat, but this has Latin flair, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Big Latin flair.
Wicked.
Way
yeah, a lot
more-
of Cubans, a lot of
Yeah.
It's crazy, and I've been told too. So I was like looking at certain places to move down there. And I said to like my cousin that I stay with, and then a couple of my friends that I made down there, I was like, oh yeah, like I was thinking about moving to Hialeah because it seems like a little bit cheaper. And they were like, oh, you speak Spanish? And I was like, no. And they were like, don't move to Hialeah. They're like, you will not be able to do anything. So yeah, that was kind of funny. So now I'm looking around different areas, maybe like North Miami, but yeah, definitely like a large Latin community. There's just like a huge art community. It's like way different, and it just kind of reminds me of like almost like a blown out North Shore, but it's like all of the good things that people like about the North Shore, like kind of condensed into like a walkable area.
Nice.
And so you don't have to I like not needing a car down there. Their public transit is like, all right.
Really?
Yeah.
Enough to really? I never would have thought Miami has good public transit. What?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you just used to being poor?
That too, yeah. No, that's definitely like one of the things. But they have like a free water shuttle. The water taxi. Yeah, you get it from like basically downtown, and then you can take it over to South Beach, and it's free. It runs like every half an hour.
We're so abused up here. Like we're so used to getting
I
nothing.
fucking hate
Nothing.
And having to pay double for nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then them also being kind of assholes to you, like in the middle of it.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying to one of my friends yesterday, Massachusetts is one of the most expensive states to own a business. And so I feel like I've definitely been feeling that. Like the taxes are outrageous up here. I don't really know what it is in comparison to Florida, but Florida's kind of like free balling with everything anyway. So
Yeah, no income tax.
Seems-
I know that that's a big deal.
no car insurance either.
No car insurance? Oh, God. That's also
Well,
why
like,
it's the meth
Yeah,
capital.
you like need car. Oh no, I always get that wrong. It's not that there's no insurance. It's no when you inspections. They don't do inspections.
No car inspections?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that means all their cars get waterlogged and rotted out.
banged
and,
up.
Yeah, and then
Everyone-
they try
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and sell them across the country. I end up with those
Yeah,
lemons.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
everyone says
man.
down there if you see a car that's like all banged up, don't park near it. Don't go near it. Like everyone drives like a friggin' nut down there. Like you think like masshole drivers are bad. These people will literally like pass a cop on like the shoulder just to get through the traffic. They don't give a fuck down
That's
there.
crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts down there. But I love it.
That's weird. Different vibe.
Wicked. Yeah.
How's the? I mean, I know you weren't tapping into the drug scene, but like that's like the cocaine.
It snows
Is there cocaine everywhere?
constantly.
Everyone's doing
snow in Miami.
Oh,
Yeah, which is weird because it's Miami, so you're like, oh, it doesn't snow down here. It snows
every
everywhere,
day. Yeah.
every day,
Everybody's
everywhere in
doing
Miami
it all the time. That's
yeah.
You have to do it to like live to some degree. How else do you party until 6 a.m. and then go to work?
That's what I was gonna say. So I met this girl my first day down there like a couple weeks ago. She's also from Boston. She's from the North Shore. She moved down there like 3 years ago. And we ended up linking up a couple days later after I got out of work freelancing. I was like out at 7. I was like, cool, like what time do you want to meet up? And she's like, I don't know, like I'm doing a few things, got to do some laundry. Like I was thinking like midnight. And I just like stared at my phone for a minute and I was just like, it's like 7 o'clock. She wants to go out at midnight. I'm like, what the fuck do I do for like 5 hours?
That's
like,
all
sucks.
my night. That's when I
Yeah.
would be hanging.
Yes.
Anytime from 7 until midnight.
Until
And then
midnight,
that's
yeah.
usually when I would go to bed because I'm a human being and I have normal human needs.
Yeah, but it seems like they're kind of superhuman down there. They live like 2 days at once. And I love the fuck out of that. That's just like utilizing every part of your day.
But then, do they crash? Like, is there...
No, they just keep going, dude.
I don't get it, though. I don't get...
I don't
like,
get it either. I don't understand. And I don't think it's just the drugs. I think it is just like the availability to like, not like their personal availability, but just like the potential to just like go out and do things. That's what I love about it. Because even living in Salem, it's nice. You like, whether it's a season or not, you can walk downtown and you can find a bar to like hang out at like 9 o'clock till like maybe 1 a.m. Dude, shit doesn't get popping until like midnight, 1 a.m. down there. And places are open from like 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. I don't know what they do for those. That's when everyone sleeps, the 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. apparently.
That's not that much time, though. It's not enough for me.
No.
I need more. I definitely need more.
Every like 2 days I need more.
Yeah,
But
for sure. Maybe when I was younger, I could have. I didn't sleep much, and I partied a little bit, but I worked all the time. But I don't think I could do that anymore. I just don't have the desire. You have to have a
I was
will,
gonna
a
say,
fire
it's-
in your belly for something.
yeah. And,
Whether it's to get laid, whether it's to make money,
or just
whether
like
it's to
meet
just
people and
yeah,
and just like be out there like doing
be
stuff.
a part of
because
a
you can.
scene
Yeah.
and hang
Yeah.
with like the cool kids. I don't want any of it though.
Yeah,
like
that's
you
fair.
cool kids do your thing. I would be down there on Miami Beach. Like I'm all about the food. Like
Yeah.
I'd love that food scene. I'd go to the art things during the day, hang out in the sun. But no, I want to go to
Well,
bed.
then you take a nap like late afternoon, and then you're kind of like ready to go. You like wake up, eat some dinner, or like breakfast, I
guess.
guess, depending on which way you're looking at it.
More
and then you just go back out.
Yeah.
And it's nighttime, so it's not nearly as hot. Everyone's out. There's definitely like a large tourist population, which I'm interested to see because I'm going back in a couple weeks, and I know their snowbird season just kind of like ended, so a lot of people are like going back up north now.
What's their industries? Like all the people that live in Miami, what do they do? I know it's international business hub. One of the largest ports in the country. But like up here we have a couple of banks that are big.
Yeah.
And a couple insurance companies. We have DraftKings in Boston, and those are like big. GE, and those are like the big companies that
Yeah.
people work for. And you would think that a lot of people in Boston work at those John Hancock Tower and all
Yeah.
that shit. What do they got?
But there's like so many people, so it just like I feel like everyone. All right, well,
I feel like the industry's changed. Like life has changed, and that's not exactly how it works anymore. I
feel like a
but
lot
there
of
has to
people,
be
they're
some
like-
employers.
yes, definitely. I feel like
Large
same
in
thing,
scale?
like banks, big box stores.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot in the music industry. It seems like there's a lot of different places that do like open mics, so a lot of people are just like trying to get their name out there and like do their thing, or like they're DJing.
Probably modeling and fashion.
Yeah.
Probably boat
a lot of like
sales.
strip clubs, a lot of like boat sales, yeah. Like dancers, just like or like exotic dancers.
Probably a
People
destination
working
for
at
weddings.
hotels and weddings definitely.
Yeah, so
A lot of,
probably
like, corporate
massive
work.
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at jobs when I got out of college in 2012, but the real estate, Miami was getting crushed in the real estate industry, and I guess development was big at that point.
When was this?
2012.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I feel like my cousin says she moved down there about like 10 years ago in the area where she's at now. She told her husband, who is still living in Mass at the time, she was like, don't look around at what it is now, just look at its potential.
Yeah, because
and she was right.
because they're
She's-
building it.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
they're building it up. A lot of cruise ships. there's like a lot of that like hospitality work because there's so many people, like an influx of people that just go down there that need to get taken
the
care of.
cruises all, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. We start to see pops from the cruise ship that we have here, and it's only stops for the day.
Yeah.
In Salem. But yeah, that's got to be huge. I didn't think of that too.
Because their weather's basically year round, so like they have like their snowbird season, so they do slow down in the dead of summer and like leading up to that. But other than that, it's like it's nice out year round. There's always people out doing things. I'm interested to see what it's like in their like slower seasons while it's still like really warm and like who does what. Because even when my dad was living down there, he said you just kind of adjust your way of living. You get up earlier in the morning before the sun gets up. You like do what you need to do early morning, then you go to work for the afternoon, and then you get home and you wait till the sun goes back down. And then if you're older, you probably are just like tucked in for the night. But if you're younger and you don't want to sit around, you can just fucking go out.
Sounds
so much
nice.
To do.
It just sounds so nice to just switch up the way that I live. I was looking in the mirror today at the gym, and I was just so white, and I knew I was going to come in here, and you're going to have this beautiful sun-kissed tan just back from Miami Beach, and I was just like, I need something different. Oh.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like I keep hearing, too, from everyone just saying how harsh of a winter this was, and I definitely agree it was. We were just getting nailed with snow constantly, but I think I snapped this winter. And I went out to like play in the snow, and I was like, I never have to deal with this again. Like, I am getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with this snow anymore. I might as well enjoy it.
I got to get myself there. Maybe I got to open up a fucking winter business in Miami.
I have like this really messed up idea because they put a couple Kellys in Florida, and I get they're like not doing super hot, which is kind of surprising because Florida's just bust, and in New York people, you'd think it would do well. Haddock is such a like, I don't want to say like delicacy, but it's like an important fish up here because of the cold waters. They don't get haddock down there because water doesn't get. I want to start fish farming down there and like get a facility that gets the water cold enough in order to like grow and spawn haddock fish.
Do it.
It's all Boston people. Yeah. They would fucking, they miss their haddock. They make, yeah.
Same thing with pizza. Take Boston pizza down there, find a way to make that. Nobody's got good pizza anywhere.
There's some good pizza, but I feel like that's more of the like New York, Chicago places. I know on like the Gulf side, there's this place called Pioneer Pizza. I want to say that dude is definitely like from New York, but that pizza slaps. But other than that, it's like kind of hard to find good pizza down there.
It's crazy how roast beef sandwiches are so specific to the North Shore of Boston. Go to the South Shore of Boston, they'll have no idea what you're talking about. Go to Boston, they'll be like, I don't know what it is. But on the North Shore, there's like
North
this
Shore beefs.
20-mile radius where roast beef sandwiches rule all. And it's a hot...
Sauce.
I think it might be the sauce.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it is like the cut of the meat too, because like I grew up, my dad's a butcher and my family owns a deli. So I always grew up with roast beef subs. And then my ex and I, he would always talk about like roast beef sandwiches. And I was like, you mean like the long one? And he was like, no, like on a...
Like a sandwich.
Yeah. And basically ever since then, I was like, all right, like I didn't know what I was missing. Roast beef, North Shore beefs are like something entirely different.
It's just a different thing altogether. And I don't know how to explain it to you, like people at home. It's just a hot barbecue sauce with cheese. So there's 3 ways. There's 3 ways to get a roast beef sandwich.
Super beef 3-way.
Yeah. There's cheese, sauce, and mayonnaise. You can get any of those 3 on a hot roast beef sandwich on like a burger bun. And it's just amazing. And it's open till 2 in the morning and the bars close at 1.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's the latest late night. It's the best food you can get late night. And it's probably horrible for you, but it's
probably the best for you too. Like after a night of drinking, it just like soaks up all the alcohol. You don't wake up hungover. You wake up
it's
like
actually
pretty full
meat
still.
and it's not too fried. So maybe it is good for you. I guess your options.
It's probably better for you than like stopping at McDonald's after like a night of drinking.
Taco Bell,
or Taco Bell, yeah.
But
fuck Taco Bell.
Oh, it's so amazing, and they exist nowhere else. Same thing with steak tips. You ever go and try and get steak tips anywhere outside New England?
No, I can't say I have.
They're like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's a cut of meat, and I don't know what cut it is. It's like we're supposed to learn it here, like a flank cut of the meat or something. But when you go other places, it's not a typical thing.
Weird.
So you have to ask them for a specific cut, and they don't marinate it. And when I went to Atlanta, I was on a mission to find steak tips, and I never found them.
Really?
Never found them.
That's pretty disappointing.
They're like a tri-tip? And I'm like, no, that's not a tri. No.
And you just know when they bring it out, you're just going to be like, this isn't it.
That's not it. It's tenderloin.
Yeah.
That's what part of the meat it is. But
Well, so this place and then a place where one of my buddies works, Champions.
Oh.
They both like this place and that place. They
North
both
Shore
boast
classics.
the best steak tips. And I feel like we need to have a challenge on like steak tips and like an anonymous poll or something to be like Champions, or Village Tavern.
That's a great idea. We
which one's the
just
best?
did the chili cook-off. I don't think that our chili performed very well, unfortunately. But then we also did an espresso martini bake-off. Like, that would be a good one, too.
Yeah, best steak
Like
tips
steak
on the North Shore.
Yeah.
Because they always have like the North Shore Beef Challenge where it's like and they always like rate them online too. There's like, back to that, they have like a whole ass page on Facebook called North Shore Beefs where people just rate different beefs from the North Shore.
Do you find a big difference?
Between different places?
Yeah.
I'm a pretty picky eater, and so if a place like kind of drops the ball hard enough, I like I'll give it one more chance, but
If the beef is cooked well, I think it's all the same. I think the rolls are different depending on where you go. The amount of meat you get is a little bit different depending on where you go.
Yeah.
But like I'm just partial to Bill and Bob's. Like Peabody, Salem, late night. Like that's
they're
my
always
go-to.
good. They're
And I want the
consistent.
cheeser teasers. Yeah.
Yeah. Continuity
Good
with like
ratio
quality.
of meat to fucking bun.
They also have a
and
bomb
cheese.
milkshake too.
They got milkshakes?
Yeah.
I see. That's the last thing I need at 2 a.m.
Dude,
too. Throw
milkshake,
that cheeser
a super
teasers.
beef three-way, a junior
You
three
speak
beef.
in my language.
So good.
I'm up 15 pounds.
No,
I-
you can't
yeah.
tell. It must all be muscle.
I'm hoping. I really hope it is. I guess I started lifting weights this winter, so I'm hoping that it's muscle, but I also had eaten a lot of cake.
Yeah,
I got into
you gotta have
the
your cake and eat it
sweets.
too sometimes.
Yeah, I got into the sweets big time this winter. We
You
got to
sweet
start
tooth?
running around. Yeah.
What's your like go-to?
Chocolate ice cream
Ooh, yeah, same.
or brownies.
Yeah,
Or chocolate
anything
cake.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Anything chocolate.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. Although for cake, I'm more of like a strawberry shortcake person. That's like the
I'll
only
do that
thing.
too.
Yeah.
Like I won't discriminate against a strawberry shortcake or like a carrot cake.
yeah.
Maybe a carrot. Me and the wife just went up to Portsmouth and tried a new donut place. They had a carrot cake donut.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It
It sounds
was-
like a supple donut too.
Just a phenomenal
Yeah.
morning delight. Like,
You get coffee with it too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, nice.
oh, cream cheese in the morning too.
Damn. Well, that's the other thing is like, I feel like bagels are super hot around here.
Yeah, I've been cooling off on my bagel consumption.
You
was-
got consumption?
No, I was cooling off on my bagel consumption. I was huge on Bagel World. Like I remember when my friend Vig came up and I was like, I'm about to introduce you to the best bagel in the entire world. See the sign right there? Bagel World. But they've gone downhill.
Really?
And I feel like every time I eat one of those things, I'm like, oh, well, got to go take a shit for 3 hours now.
Yeah, that's fair. I only went there like twice in my life, I think.
Really?
I was like super late. I was kind of late, even though I grew up on the North Shore. I was like late to like North Shore things somehow. Yeah.
I was late to Beefs. I was
Yeah.
very late to Beefs
I was
all the
very
way
late to
through
Beefs,
high
yeah.
school into college, and then it became like, oh, I don't know how I lived without these.
In the last like 6-7 years of my life, I've been like turned on to beefs, and I'll never go back.
So good.
Yeah. Do love a good deli sub though.
Delis up here or whatever, sub shops. I guess we have more sub shoppy than deli, I would
Yeah.
consider, right? Is that the way you would classify
No,
it?
definitely. Yeah, there aren't as many. I feel like delis are like kind of an older school thing too. There aren't
Yeah,
as
it's
many,
a
like-
different, I feel like it's a
di-
different thing.
Yeah.
A New York deli is a different thing than what I'm looking for, which is I want a steak and cheese sub.
Yeah.
Or I want an Italian sub on, and I want it to be on a
You ever go to
particular roll.
Publix.
Oh, a pub sub?
Dude, a
Yeah,
pub
That's
sub?
the closest they got to subs.
I've driven from Massachusetts to Richmond, Virginia
For a
before.
pub sub?
For multiple pub subs.
Oh,
We packed up a cooler
God.
and we were like, what are we doing this weekend? Like, nothing? All right, let's drive to Virginia for some pub subs. Everyone thought we were friggin' insane.
Yeah,
and
you
we
are.
were.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Let's go with 17 hours. 13?
We fit it into like 2 days because we stopped at like an
Of course.
Airbnb in
You had to stop to
Connecticut.
Sonic in
Yeah.
fucking Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
You gotta like hit all the trips while you're down there or like make all the stops, and it was the best thing ever. But then I came back and I was still working full time for this company, and they decided to have their work party, and they got like one of those like 10-foot subs, and it was a fucking Italian, and I was like, guys, I don't think I can look at bread right now.
I
was
just
like,
got back
drove.
on a 3-day mission for Publix bread.
They're like, where'd Ashley go? She's
I
eating
would
pub
just make
subs.
buffalo chicken subs basically when I was
Buff
down
chick.
there.
Yeah.
And even though I would go in with a different intention, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to get something different from Publix this time. Like, I'm going to get this or that. But then I'm just like, well, the chicken fingers for sure. And then, like, if I'm going to have a sauce, I might as well make
do
it buffalo.
buffalo, yeah.
And then, like, cheddar cheese sounds good.
Yeah.
All of a
And they
sudden, I'm
heat
eating
it
a
up
buffalo.
too.
Oh.
It's like
It's a different thing too.
it's such a unique type of like grocery store chain, and they're privately owned, or they're employee owned.
Oh, are they? Nice. Yeah.
I love Publix.
Had those in Atlanta. That was nice. It's a nice different thing. We had that in Kroger.
Kroger's. Oh, it's another grocery store chain, right? Yeah. I feel like they also have like Winn-Dixie's down there.
Winn-Dixie's are big. I worked for a commercial real estate company that sold all these, so I had to like look up all the listings and how much they sold for, and I was learning about all these different places. I just went for the first time to the expensive one that's down on the South Shore, kind of by IKEA. Wegmans?
Yes. Yep.
That's a different thing altogether too.
That one kind of reminds me of like a weird hybrid between what is it? Like a Market Basket mixed with
It is pretty wild. I don't even know where I'm going to go. I don't even know where I'm about to go. But right now, I do not want to sell you any deodorant for your balls or anything else, really, at this moment. What I would like for you to do is go to MugsyTheCreator.com. You can find my Patreon link, which enables me to do this all for free, living off $12,000 a year in my paradise. But you can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and a whole host of other places. Let's see where I'm going to go with this one. How's he going to land that plane? Back to the episode.
I want to say Shaw's. It reminds me of like a Shaw's Market Basket hybrid, but like a little bit higher scale. Kind of with like a little bit of like the Whole Foods bouginess.
Yeah, Whole Foods bougie, definitely sprinkled all over that. Mm-hmm. And they have prepared foods and all that. It's just huge. Yeah. It was so big. They had everything. They had everything I could ever think of and more.
Love that. Love a good
But at the same time, it's all the fucking same.
Yeah. You just got to know what you're looking for. Like, I don't know. I'm a creature of habit, so I always gravitate towards the same, like, 9 foods.
Yeah. I start flipping the packages around and looking at the ingredients, and if all the ingredients are the same, well, then I'm eating the same thing. It doesn't matter whether I get it from Market Basket or...
It's just, like, a mix of the same shit.
And then I eat a lot of nuts. So I looked at the nuts at Whole Foods, and their cashews, organic, are imported from China. There's no way in supply chains that it makes more sense for us to import our cashews from China.
Yeah.
Just transporting them here would make them more expensive than they should be in the first place, so these can't be real cashews. So what are you selling me?
Nothing's real anymore. They're all like filled with microplastics and like
So what
GMOs
are you selling me?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would my cashews be from China? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. There's got to be...
It's getting rough out there. Like it's kind of like the deep state, like fake AI. Like nothing is real. Don't trust anything, including your food. That was a long way for me. I don't trust the food supply. Yeah, there's like a long way for some tree nuts. But I don't actually know. I know they're a tree nut, but I don't know like a cashew tree. Like I've never once in my life looked into that.
I definitely looked it up. I don't remember what it is, if it grows on like a bush or a tree or whatever.
Because I know peanuts grow out of the ground, kind of like potatoes in a weird way. You like farm them like that, which is kind of wild.
I should know more about my...
I need to I'm going to do a deep dive on nuts after this.
Yeah. I think about it as a good protein.
Yeah.
It's a good snack. It fills you up.
I feel so bad for people who are allergic to tree nuts. It's just like, especially when they're health conscious, it's like, damn, you don't know what you're missing. Like, these are the best things ever. It's such a good, like, healthy, fatty, good, healthy fat.
Yeah, if you can run on fats. I lost a ton of weight over the last 5 years or something like that. But I think it's because I slowly switched my body to running on fat. I forget what they call that.
You're like metabolizing.
Rogan's always talking about it. Ketosis. Like I think I started hitting ketosis.
Yeah.
Like I was running on fat. My body was burning fat, and now it wants fat on the input, and like pistachios and cashews and peanuts.
And you can just like face palm those too, and it's just like such a good thing for you too.
Yeah, they have a decent amount of protein in them too, so I'm getting a little bit of a snack and like a lift with them. But I think those have been super helpful for me.
How do you feel about like nut milks?
Not for me.
Yeah, no.
You're trying to make it into a different thing. I think it's because of experience. So I used to juice a lot of things and make smoothies. Like again, my buddy Vig came up and he's like, I can't eat enough kale, and we're supposed to have a lot of leafy green vegetables. So what I do is I blend it and I just chug it. So I started doing that. But that's not how you're supposed to consume those
No, because your body
You're
won't
supposed
like
to
break it down.
Yeah.
You need to chew it.
You're supposed to chew it, and it's not supposed to be a liquid, and now you're getting all the sugar way too fast from the carrots or the banana or whatever. And banana in and of itself, I didn't know is not a natural food. It's very, very, very genetically modified.
Yes. The banana flavor that we taste is not the real.
No, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Like, it's so far from the thing.
The artificial banana flavoring that people get in like their coffee, that is closer to the true taste of an actual banana before all the genetic
That's
modifications.
funny. And these banana wars. So yeah, I was clued into the fact that we should pay attention to these things, but I forget what I was saying there. Smoothies. Oh yeah. So I was clued into the fact that you should try and eat the food in its natural form. And I've tried to pay attention to that. Also raw.
Raw diets.
I didn't realize how important it was to eat some things raw. So every once in a while, I'll have some like raw carrots and shit.
Yeah. How about raw? I feel like my friend and I were just talking about raw potatoes. He's like, you're not supposed to eat raw potatoes. I was like, dude, I freaking love. Like, my mom would be like making mashed potatoes when I was little, and she would like chop them all up, and I would just be like stealing a couple like raw potatoes. I don't know how, like.
I've never done that.
I mean, the Irish people lived off them before the famine. It must not be too bad.
I know. I'm sure it's fine. It's fucking
Tasted
food.
fine. Yeah. I'm still alive somehow, so.
My boy Sunshine Salesman on Instagram was making brownies with sweet potatoes.
Ooh, sweet potatoes are bomb. They're such a versatile, like, food.
Not my jam.
Really?
Not my jam.
Interesting.
Not my go-to. I don't know why,
funny.
but if you're going to make them into a brownie form, I'm probably going to eat them, though.
Sweet potato pie. You ever have that?
Never had
Dude,
that.
so good. It's like Thanksgiving time rolls around. Like, one of my friends used to make, or probably still makes, a nice, like, sweet potato pie. Shit's bomb.
I
Just, like,
missed
sweet
the
potato
barbecue
mashed.
from the South.
Yeah.
The barbecue down south was to die for. I didn't get into the desserts huge when I was down there. I guess
What kind of, like, desserts?
they have like, I don't know, key lime pie is a thing.
Key lime's-
Pecan
yeah,
pie.
yeah.
Pecan pie is a big thing. I don't know what else. Cobbler, peaches, like
Peaches make sense, too.
peach
Yeah, I guess,
pie,
like,
peach
really anything that,
cobbler.
like, grows down there.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
I didn't get into much of that. They also do sweet tea, and that wasn't my jam.
Yeah.
But the barbecue is on point. And I learned
about it?
all about the different kinds.
Yeah.
North Carolina's vinegar base and kind of tangy. Georgia had like a lot of brown sugar and sweetness, like a Sweet Baby Ray's kind of. Kansas City do like a tri-tip and like dry rub, and Memphis does dry rub,
Yeah.
and like Texas is more brisket.
That's so funny. It's like different.
They-
Yeah, just all
they
different
differentiate
zones. Yeah.
themselves. And brisket used to be the shitty cut of the meat that they would give the cowboys, so the cowboys had to find a way to make it tender
Yeah.
so that they would smoke it for 16 hours or something,
And then
they
tear
would
it
be-
up. That
yeah.
sounds good. I feel like that kind of how, like, brisket isn't like a low priced thing either, depending on where you're at. Same with like
No.
lobster, or really any sort of like what we would consider a delicacy now are usually the pieces or like cuts of food or meat or whatever that were given to either like inmates or like people at like a lower status. And now they're like the most charged for, which is fucking insane.
It really is. You get pushed into a box and you have to make the best of whatever you have.
And then when people don't have that, they're like, oh, I want that. We're going to make it really expensive. So
And it
like,
pushes you to make it great. Mm-hmm. I was thinking of that so much this week. I was struggling to record a podcast solo again. And it's just, I don't know why. You do the 106 episodes or something that I've done. And I don't know. I had some sort of goal at the beginning, but all those things have changed to some degree.
Yeah.
I think in a large form, I've maintained my voice throughout that, but I'm a different person than I was 3 years ago when
That's
it
a good thing.
started. I hope so. Like, you're always looking for growth.
yeah.
But it takes, you have to continually have conversations. You find yourself having conversations with yourself, like, do I still want to do the thing that I'm doing, or do I want to be doing something different? And I don't know. Because I set out with a goal of wanting to have conversations with people. I couldn't get any people. So I was like, but okay,
do it
well,
myself.
I can,
Yeah.
I'll talk to myself. And this is like also a cool thing. And I'm still getting a lot of information.
Yeah.
I realized that, when you're doing a conversation with yourself, you're doing something completely different.
Yeah.
And that's how, I'm channeling information from somewhere, whether it's my own past experiences, whether it's future things that are coming up that I'm anticipating, but I'm looking for wisdom and I'm pulling it out of
Yeah.
somewhere. So like that was a massive, oh, wow.
When you need to like, you gotta have like a good amount of shit to talk about too when you are doing it alone, because otherwise you're just gonna be sitting here like, all right, what did I do yesterday? Like, what are we at like now? And it just, you gotta like have some interesting topics in order to like just kind of go off and like get people to want to interact with that.
I don't think I've realized how much the culture has diffused in a way. Like,
Like
I'm used to
interactive.
everyone seeing the same movies when I grew up.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
No.
Everyone has seen something completely different. I struggle for ways to engage with the society on a large scale
Yeah.
because everyone's so in their
vast.
own world. I don't know how to and sometimes I just
pull
get
them out of
stuck in
that.
that. Yeah. I just get stuck in that loop and I don't give a fuck.
Well, I feel like that kind of goes back to what we were talking about though. That's like the authenticity thing is like people in all of their different avenues that kind of have that tunnel vision of like what they're into, what they listen to, what they watch. And then they see something different and it'll either pull them out of that. And that's how you like experience growth or like neuroplasticity. But I feel like you're an authentic enough person too that you could pull someone out of whatever echo chamber they're in to be like, all right, like I actually like what this guy's talking about. It's something I haven't heard before. It's something different. And I feel like there is like a magnetism towards authenticity and then just something different because your brain almost is automatically interested because it's like, I haven't seen this before. Like, what is this thing? Or some people probably just like, oh, this is different. I don't want anything to do with this. But I feel like more often nowadays too, people see something different and they're like, oh, what is this thing? Because everything is the same for everyone to a degree.
I think that we're all also though we're in our own heads in a way that we think we're so unique because we're in our own echo chamber that we think that no one has ever had the experience that we've had.
Nothing or nothing really that original.
But we're all doing the same thing. We were just talking about this in terms of the scaling of like, we were talking about it before, but also I guess with the supermarkets, there's different scales of supermarkets, but they're selling the same thing.
Yeah.
And once you start to climb the ladders of like being poor to starting to have nice things, you realize that, oh, it's not really that different.
There's just a higher price on it.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be different, but it's not really that different.
And that's probably why they say money doesn't buy you happiness. It'll buy you some peace of mind, but not happiness because
I think it's a distraction
Yes.
from the things that like we're really looking for. Me and you are unique and we do things in a different way than other people. And that is, I've been looking for so long and it's so nice to have and no one else can steal that from us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. I think it probably like gets us into the weeds with certain things because if you're trying to do things, I don't think you and I intentionally set out to do things unconventionally. I think it just happens. And that can feel almost like isolating sometimes because you're just like, am I doing something wrong? Or it makes you feel like you're on a path of like a lot of resistance and like nothing really works out. But like I'm still entertained. I'm doing something different. And I feel like people are always like, oh, you're such like an independent person. It's just like, no, I'm just like living my life. And other people don't do that.
The
apparently.
working out though, is it all in your head? Like once I detach myself from it working out, like I like having conversations with people. I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Working out? Like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in the Village Tavern doing a podcast. This
I'm
is
having
way
a
better.
great fucking Thursday.
I know.
What else would I be
like,
doing
this
right
is
now?
cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna hang out after this and get some pizza and chill, and we get to have a conversation that I've wanted to have for a lot. Like, I've been trying to not have this conversation so that we can do it on the pod. Like,
Whenever we see each other, it's just like keep it limited.
The excitement.
Otherwise, just gonna
I'm looking for the excitement again, and I guess you lose the excitement after a while when I'm just sitting here alone looking into the camera like. You got it, like the fucking channeling, time traveling waiter. Here I am again, doing the dancing.
Well, that's kind of how I feel with like weddings too, where like to a degree, everyone has like a unique vision for their wedding, but not really.
They think it's unique.
They think it's
unique. But they think like, oh no, I'm coming up with
their first time.
I know,
and that makes so much sense. And I try to be really gentle about that because a lot of them are like, we want something timeless, but we want something completely personalized and unique. And it's just like. Yes, we can do that, but it's not going to capture as timeless if you want something that personalized and unique because that is completely contradicting. Like timelessness and personalized uniqueness, those two things don't really go hand in hand.
I want the elegance of black and white, but what I want you to do is class it up with a bunch of different pastels.
Like, what does that even mean?
I know.
I get like questions like that. They're like, can we do this? But like this absolutely like contradicting thing. And it's just like, that's not how this works.
Nope,
and like,
different
I'm an
game.
artist, but I have limitations here.
Yeah, you don't know what you're asking for.
It's wild. But I finally actually, I was going back and forth with this wedding planner that I really enjoy working with, and I miss working with her. And she hit me up about this like August wedding. And I was like pretty excited to entertain it. We were like working through all the details, but it was kind of like one thing after the other. And then my own personal life has just been like a shit show. So I'm like kind of smartening up to like saying no to certain things again and like limiting how many projects I take on. But it was weird because as soon as I texted her, like, hey, I'm sorry, like, I can't put myself forward for this wedding right now. Like, my heart's not in it. My mind's not in it. I had like 2 different friends hit me up for like creative collaborations. Like, they didn't know that I was like telling this wedding planner no. And all I keep bitching about is like, I need to get out of the wedding industry. I need more creative projects. Like, I need to not feel like I'm in such like a wedding box. And it is weird. Life works in like mysterious ways because it's like, it felt very synchronistic to like say no to this thing, knowing it would make me a lot of money. And trying to not be scared of like, all right, like, how am I going to make ends meet then? And I say no to this thing, and then I get 2 more completely different opportunities to make money. And so I get to like be creative. And I'd rather just be like a fucking struggling artist, honestly. Like, I already know how to be poor. I'll just keep being poor, and I'll just make fun art that I like am actually happy about, instead of being like, oh yeah, like, I'm so financially comfortable, but I hate my fucking life. Like, I'm good with that.
No, I'm 100% down with you. I think that it's just so different for me because I studied money for so long. I have such an intimate relationship with what money is that it has no control over me. And I got that way because I literally investigated it nonstop for basically 2 decades. And then I get to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to think about this anymore.
I don't want that, actually.
Just want to do whatever I feel like doing. That freedom that I have is real wealth.
Yeah.
And the wisdom is knowing how to get through the situations being poor.
Yeah.
And that's,
because if you can get through something poor, you'll be just fine. Like,
I don't know why people aren't more fascinated by us. In a way, like, we're happy.
I just had so many things shoot through my head. Yeah.
Like,
because you're not following what they were told to follow, that they followed, and they're still not happy even though they have money.
But we should be fascinating to them. They should be watching us nonstop, figuring out like, oh, I have money and I could be happy. How do I get there? How do I be more like these other people that are? But apparently nobody gives a fuck what we're doing.
Well, that's also just probably like quick turnarounds, like quick like attention spans. They're like, how are these poor people
Which
so
is why
happy?
you can't worry about them.
You're like, ah, fuck it, I don't care.
Which
like,
is why you can't worry about them.
No.
I'm learning how to. This is the sad part, though, because when you start to recognize that all humans are programmable, you can start to like. I start to cattle people, and now I'm like, all right, buy my T-shirts, guys. Buy my T-shirts here at the Village Tavern, which is the only place that you can get these Village Tavern tees. It would be so nice if we could go to villagetavernsalem.com. And you could start to buy the T-shirts online, but that's not something we have available yet. And I'm starting to realize that if I just do a little bit more of this stuff, that I can herd these people like cattle into whatever box that I want to put them in. Because this is an awesome T-shirt. And I used to feel a little bad about doing stuff like this and showing off all the amazing things that we have at the Village Tavern.
Too. Oh, wait, can I plug who makes these?
Yeah.
Ben Franklin.
Yep, there you go.
Actually, you want to know something? He made my shirt too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're plugging all day. These are all things that you could have for you if you had a sponsorship on this program, which nobody has right now. But I do love the Village Tavern, and I very much appreciate them being such gracious hosts of this podcast. But yeah, so it's things like that like once you understand what you're doing, you can just like rally people to get into one box and room. But
people like to get hyped.
But I want them to make that decision on their own. I want them to see us and be like, I like these two people.
There's a lot of indecision, though.
I know. It doesn't matter what I want.
You just have to like
catch the right people. Doesn't matter what I want.
Which I feel like there's a lot of good, like positive feedback from the first time that we talked. I feel like I heard from people that I hadn't heard from in a while, being like, "Yo, I like Sai. I told you about one of my old customers,
which is great,
New Bedford, great dude." And he was like, "You just came up on my YouTube," and I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" And he was like, "I don't know. I saw this kid and I like clicked on it, and it was." He was like, holy shit, it's Ashley. And I was like, Daryl, I haven't talked to you in forever, but I love that man. And it was like cool for just people to like come out of the woodwork and be like, yo, like I just saw you on this thing. And like, I'm not really like a YouTube person, so like, I don't know, but just like sharing it and like talking with someone different, doing something different.
Yeah.
It just, there's so many corners of different markets, and there's so many different ways and avenues to like get yourself into just to basically get product in hand. And if you don't only limit yourself to like what you know or what you're comfortable with, there's an entire audience of people who are just waiting to be like, oh, what is this new thing?
they want to be sold.
Yeah.
Which I think I have struggle with.
Getting sold or getting
I don't
things.
want to sell you.
Yeah.
I want you to choose. Because that's what I'm trying to make you do, is get inside your brain and choose a different pattern than you've ever been in before.
Most people want to be told what to choose.
I know.
I hate that. It makes
So
me
you,
feel like a
like,
very manipulative person.
That's
I
what
hate
it is.
it so much.
That's the same thing. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
But I'll sell you a totem so that eventually when you're having a bad day and you're like crying into your t-shirt, you're like, maybe this guy from the Village Tavern can help me. It's like, oh.
Maybe I can go get an espresso martini and buy a new t-shirt.
Yeah.
Consumerism or like retail therapy. That's like definitely huge. I feel like I've heard recently a lot of people say like when they get down, they just buy something.
Well, they need a reason for them to go through the bullshit that they go through all day.
Yeah.
Like, I need money. So I need
I need a reason. I need something to spend this money on. Otherwise, what the fuck am I doing working so hard and making myself miserable for
And this
it?
guy's being an asshole to me for nothing. Like, I'm sweating, trying to do this job, whatever it is. Just sitting here, typing away at a computer or fucking lawyering or like fucking cutting into some guy's arm, whatever it is you guys do, you fucking doctors or whatever the
You
fuck.
fucking doctors. If you're a doctor, tap in right now. I got some medical questions.
Yeah. But
I'm
yeah,
not
you got to go out
paying
and buy a car, whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Same shit, just different scales.
You want to know a good life hack is if you stop paying for something, you just have to like, you can't hit a moving target and no one is going to take you out back and shoot you.
Yeah, I know you said that last time. It was such good advice.
It's pretty liberating because it's like,
I thought about it one time when something was going wrong here. Something was going wrong in the restaurant. I was like, oh, no one's going to shoot me after this. Oh, that's good.
yeah, you'll just finish up your shift.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get like a little reprimanded, but like you will wake up tomorrow and you'll make a different decision probably. And if you don't, then fucking you'll just get reamed out again.
I know. I think I'm just mad at not my audience, the audience, or human beings in general, because everyone's making the same decisions and they're getting to the same spots, and I'm just frustrated with it. Because there's a degree where I am suffering if no one around me chooses anything different, and they're all like, everything's going good here.
Because it is dependent on other people or who you choose to surround yourself with, which is really freaking annoying because it's expectations and attachments. And so if you're attached to the people around you, you are low-key attached to the decisions that they make. And if those decisions that they make don't make you happy, you are stuck with that. And you are like committed to it because you don't want to separate yourself from that because you're attached. And now you have these expectations of like, oh, these people that I'm attached to should know that I'm not happy, so they should do something different. That's not the way it fucking works. If you are not happy with the people that you're attached to, you need to do something different.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
That immediately rewires your brain to think differently, to act differently. It inspires other people around you because then they're like, oh, why did this person fall off? Like, why is this person not around anymore? But I do feel like with that, not enough people check themselves when they lose things in their life of like, not even victimizing themselves, but just being like, why is no one around me right now? Or like, why did all of this shit happen? And not to be like, oh, it's because like all of this shit happened and it's happening to me. It's just like, there's just so much constantly occurring around you and you have so many decisions to make with all of that. And I feel like I've recently been finding too, when you have decisions to make, if you don't make decisions, those decisions are made for you and it's hardly ever a favorable decision. It's not the decision you would have made. So it's like, make the decision when you have the choice and like, don't be afraid to like pull the trigger on something because you know what, like stick to your convictions, like make a decision. And if you find out that it was the wrong decision, you have free will to like make another decision. You can still course correct. And I feel like people get stuck in their decisions. They're like, I work a 9 to 5. I made that decision. Now for the rest of my life, I have to work a 9 to 5. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to. You literally don't have to do anything you don't want to.
It's the attachment, you're right. Because they get attached to these ideas. And that's one, I change my mind all the time. When I get new information, I change my mind. Sometimes I think aliens are real. Sometimes I don't think they're real. Sometimes I'm into all this crazy energy stuff. Sometimes I'm like, no.
Can't be bothered.
Yeah. If you're not flexible, then you're going to have trouble getting through any situation because you're going to think that there's a right way to get through it and a wrong way. And
you're
you're
going to be
attached.
told how to get through it.
Yeah.
Then comes in the cattling again. Mm-hmm. You're going to be told how you are supposed to get through this situation that is somewhat unique to you because of all of the other factors. No one else can make that decision for you except the universe if you don't want to make a decision. And that sucks. Because
and you do become such a product of the people you spend time with. You don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel that now that you've been back? So we talked on March 1st.
Damn. And it's
April 30th.
Oh my God, tomorrow's May. That's disgusting.
I know, we did 2 months.
That's weird.
Since the last talk.
Yeah.
Do you feel different?
I do feel different. Yeah, I feel like I've been holding myself back a little because for years I was like, I need to get out of Massachusetts. Like I want to move to Florida. It's always been Florida specifically. And then after like going to Miami, I've been to Miami January, February, March, April. I'm going back next month, so that'll be 5 times in 5 months. And for some reason, I just keep gravitating towards that. I feel different in the way that I don't feel so neurotic about my sleep schedule anymore because I always slept, or like I never really got good sleep, and I functioned pretty well off of that. And it turns out that works very well in Miami. And so I was like, all right, I'm like kind of like physically made for this right now. And so I feel very trapped now, even more so than I did before up here. I feel very limited in what I can do, where I can go, how I can act. I feel like I've outgrown Massachusetts or like the North Shore or like the Northeast, which is strange because I feel like a lot of people are always like, oh my God, you're so small, like physically small. But like I have so much more to do than like the Northeast can handle. And I don't even know what that looks like, but it just, I feel like you need to find the right spot for you. And I feel different in the way that I know now the Northeast is not for me. I was just born here and that's fine, but I need to get myself out. I feel a lot more like creatively inspired each time I go and I come back and I'm like, I just like think a little differently. I don't know, it's weird. Just different ways of thinking, different things to do, ways to like utilize my time. The way that I interact with people, I feel like has changed.
Does it feel old as shit up here?
It does.
Stuffy?
It does.
And everyone's stuck in there. There's like a blanket of never changing that's going to happen up here. And it's like, no, we're stuck in this way.
You're so trapped to like the 4 seasons where it's like everyone kind of comes alive late spring through early fall. And then everyone dies back and like goes back into like a hibernation for the winter. Why? You're wasting so many months of your life, like year after year after year. And if like you want to do that, if you get tired at the end of the year, by all means, take a sabbatical, do that, like go into hibernation. But like, I feel like it creates a lot of like laying down to die moods for people.
I think you're 100% right. I think that the darkness is something that I think it toughens us up here. Mm-hmm. It creates a different human being because you're forced to deal with the darkness. How we deal with the darkness was what I always struggled with. Was I hated going into the wintertime and I resisted as much as I could. And then you're like trying to fight, but that's not
for
how
months,
it works.
And you can't, and you'll just get exhausted. You'll exhaust all your resources.
And they call it like seasonal depression and all this shit. But what I learned to do with the darkness is utilize it as the time for reflection and growth. So when you're going into who do you want to be when you come out of the darkness?
What will you have accomplished? And if you don't want to accomplish anything within that time, I think that's okay too. Mm-hmm. Of like,
I want to work on my sleep habits. And you take rest time all winter long. That could be something you work on. But all winter I worked on my editing. And now I'm a far greater editor than, because in the darkness, you have that creativity too. Yeah. Because with the darkness comes like this weird freedom to think. I don't know why, but when the sun goes down, all of a sudden I'm free to like, let's go to the dark places. Let's think about the crazy thoughts.
See, but that's what I mean is like, you have the darkness, but you're isolated up here. Down there, you have the darkness, but you have so many bright colors still, like, it's like a constant dive bar sort of vibe where like there's like no windows, there's no light coming in, but it's still such like a vibrant, colorful thing, and you still feel like that creative spark or like new ideas. But up here, which is kind of like you said, it does create like a different breed of people or like a stronger breed of people because you only have the darkness to work with at that point, and you're like very limited resources.
Especially if you work during the day, you don't see the sun.
Yeah, and that's
I think
a lot.
It's people don't realize what that is, but that's what an
that
abuse.
Does to you. It is abuse. It's abuse.
That's abuse.
It is ecological abuse, and it's bullshit.
I didn't understand it at the time. Now I think about the sun differently. Well, I think about information. So like in this microphone, we're talking and we're making a sound. And what it's doing is it's changing that sound into an electrical current that travels via light along these cables into something. So all of a sudden we change our voice into light. Well, if information travels via light, what's the sun giving to us? When we look at it in our eyeballs, that's giving us information. And now all of these generations of Native Americans and Aztecs and Mayans and all the people that came before us, Egyptians, that worshipped the sun, maybe they were onto something. And maybe we should be paying attention to that. But about 150 years ago, we moved inside and we got electricity and we said, fuck the outdoors. We started strapping plastic shoes to our feet and we created a separation between us and our natural habitat.
Yeah.
And now we go into HVAC, air-conditioned rooms, and we stay away from the sun all day long. And what is that doing to us? Is that why everybody sucks and no one is interesting?
Maybe, yeah. See, but like, I feel like that is like a very prevalent thing in Florida too, because anyone that I've heard who lives down there or used to live down there is you go from an AC'd house to an AC'd car to an AC'd store to an AC'd bar or whatever it is that you're doing, especially in the dead of summer. And I'm very interested to experience the summer down there because one of my best friends lives up in Ocala and she's like, it's so hot that you sweat and you don't even actually sweat. It just like evaporates off of you. And I'm like, that sounds so awful and terrifying, but I need to experience that at least once in my life to be like, all right, like I can do this half of the year. I think that's going to be like the definitive point of like the snowbird thing. But I don't think it's good for your lungs. I don't think it's good for your skin. I don't think it's good for your brain. I think you do need to like experience your natural environment and find what your personal environment is for you. Because like one of my good friends that lives up here, she prefers dry heat because it doesn't make her hair frizzy, but I need the humidity because my skin feels good, my hair feels great. Like physically I feel great. I don't think I react super well to dry heat. I don't react well to dry climates, but everyone's different. And I don't think just because you're born somewhere, that's where you need to like die. Like you should give yourself the chance to experience your full like physical like prime of whatever environment you go to and not just be like, well, this is where I am, so this is what I have to work with. Like, no, there's so much more at your disposal.
Yeah, it really does make you realize, too, that when you look at the natural population of Earth, we all tend to conglomerate around the equator.
Yeah.
Like, that's where the most of the population is. And it's, as you go out towards those poles, things get more difficult because of the seasons and the cold and
I wonder if it has anything to
vitamin
do with like
D deficiencies,
yeah.
and the human beings become different and you become a different thing.
Well, and I think people that are away from the ocean get a little weird too.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
shit gets weird. Even in like the middle of Maine where they're like hours away from the ocean, like I don't know, humans are so much water that it's strange to not be around like that natural environment, and I feel like people get weird.
I completely agree. I don't know what it is, and it's okay if you're in the middle of the country and you got lakes and rivers and shit and streams.
Is it though? I feel like it's different.
I feel like there's a connection though.
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
still a connection to everything going on. You're connected to it all, but yeah, some of those like out in the plains where you got nothing. I don't know how you don't go weird, like real weird.
Yeah.
I was up in the Dakotas and like South Dakota, the Badlands. You got mountains and stuff, but yeah, there's no water anywhere.
Yeah.
For a long, long.
That like makes me thirsty. I would just be like, all right, so like, where can we go swimming then?
There's so many health studies that show that if you live near the ocean, you're healthier. I don't know specifically about water in general, but I've seen ocean ones.
I believe it. Yeah.
And that's why rich people, oh yeah.
Always on the coast.
Global warming, we're going to lose all the coast, but I want to live right on there for $70 million. Yeah, okay,
No insurance.
Obama.
Yeah. Okay, Obama.
Your chef can't swim in 2 inches of water, but that Martha's Vineyard estate is fine.
And if anything happens, you can just throw them over the edge, over the cliffs.
Yeah.
Especially Martha's Vineyard.
There's
just toss
so
them
much
into the
weird
ocean.
shit going on.
Well, it is crazy how like you said, rich people building on the coast. There was a really bad storm a couple years ago in Fort Myers that kind of like wiped through the Gulf Coast, and a lot of it was just like decimated entirely. And I was just down there, and there's this like millions and millions of dollars home like on the shore itself, and like Florida's coast itself has already receded so much that it's like your house is definitely not insured. You probably paid millions in cash, which is insane. Like, who are you for that house to just be destroyed within the next like 5 years? Being generous, maybe. depending on the storms down there and the hurricanes. I will say it doesn't sound as if Miami gets hit with the same type of like hurricanes that the Gulf side does, because it just picks up all that momentum in the Gulf Coast. The Gulf Coast, not the coast of Gulf of America. I report that on the maps all the time.
Oh, the Gulf of America
Yeah.
shit? Yeah.
I just report it. Like, this is false information.
That is hilarious. It's funny to just change the name of something. Makes me think how many times that shit's been done.
Yeah.
But the Gulf Coast one, that storm that just came by, I was listening to some of the reports of it from the ground, and people said that the hurricane just stayed over their house and it just didn't move, which made me think, oh, that's interesting. And then I started looking into it, and it
Manipulated
didn't
weather.
follow any of the natural. It
Neither did our snow
originated
patterns.
over. So now we're deep into what is. So in the 1960s, during the Vietnam War, there was a treaty to not use weather modification technology because he who controls the weather controls the world to some degree. And it seems like that we're in a new frontier and everyone's doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And these are attacks. When people say that,
Psychologically.
not only psychologically, but like on the human people die in those storms.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that's intentional.
Yeah. I just don't know who's doing it and what and how.
And why.
And why. Yeah. It does seem like they're trying to block out the sun.
Yeah. But like in the long run, this is what always like trips me up about like anything where it's like the ominous like over figures or whatever. What is their goal? Because it's not like they don't inhabit the same world. Like, do you think you're just like exempt from all of this?
I think that's where like I think they're being guided by dark spirits. And I think that they intentionally call these dark spirits in to guide them. Like the guy who's the political donor from Germany. He was in World War II. He's he funds everybody. His goal is to cause dissent and make sure the world burns, essentially. But he admitted
just wanna watch the world
when he
burn.
was young that he was taken over by a dark demon entity that controls his life
That
now.
sounds like schizophrenia. Like, boy, you should go get checked maybe. I don't know.
But when you're a billionaire, George Soros admitted
like a
to
dude
having
that
a
has
demon
issues.
that he talks to and he guides him.
But okay, now picture like some dude on the street by the fountain just coming in and being like, hey, dark spirits control me. Like, we're going to do this whole thing to make sure that there's a descent in human population. You'd be like, that dude needs to be committed.
For sure.
And I think that's like a monetary thing.
But he owns, let's now just say, instead of George Soros, let's say Bill Gates. And let's say he owns billions and billions and billions of dollars, including most of the computer technology and infrastructure that businesses use on a day-to-day basis. And also, he is controlling what is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has all the billionaires donate their billions of dollars to a nonprofit organization that is used as a vessel to control different swaths of information and how it gets distributed all over the course of the world, and donate using its money to build influence, like over the World Health Organization. And
Because there's no free speech. Like there
well,
is.
free speech is money. That was deemed in the whatever the Supreme Court said. Free speech is money. So that.
But freedom of speech, and I feel like that saying is freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence.
Yes.
And so you might have the money to say and do whatever you want, but there are going to be consequences, whether that's like revolutionary or like, I don't know, it's your own ghost coming back to bite you in the ass. But like, if you have the money, you can do whatever you want, but only for so long. And I feel like that's kind of like a point that we're hitting now, where a lot of people with a lot of money are like, oh, we could just do whatever we want. They forget that like guillotines existed, that like personal revolutions exist, or like.
I know, it really is.
I'm just waiting for like the downfall of all of this, because shit's gonna get like a lot more bleak, a lot worse, and probably a lot harder on a lot of people. But kind of back to being the poor thing. If you already know what struggle is, you can't really hurt that person, because like they've already been without all of like basic resources. They've been without. It creates like a different way that your brain works, because you have to. Your brain's main goal is to sustain itself. It is to survive. And if you just have all of these resources and money to just help yourself get by, you are not training your body how to deal with the discomfort. You're not training your body or your brain how to like get through or troubleshoot.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the consequence of...
I think, though, that there's a choice. I think that there are forces inside all countries that see their citizens as cattle.
Oh, yeah.
And they deem which direction the cattle are going to move in. Resistance to that is your own suffering.
Yeah.
And you will die.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to allow your way of life to continue to prosper. So if buying a house was the means with which certain generations were able to accumulate wealth, we're going to kick that ladder out and there's no way up anymore. So good luck. And if there's no more selling of cars, we're going to erase Henry Ford from your mind so that you fucking forget all those things and you stop asking to own your own fucking car and you just start leasing ours and you rent our fucking cars.
Well, everything's a rental or a subscription. Yeah. And if you die before that's paid off, your next of kin still is responsible for it.
But even if you're going to dedicate your life to making sure everybody knows about Henry Ford and the fact that we used to be able to buy cars, you'll fucking die eventually and we'll be left with just the leasing. So like, sure.
It's a weird battle that's like constantly going on too, because like you can fight the good fight your entire life and you're still going to die. And maybe something changed because of it, maybe something didn't. But I think kind of like you said, like the personal suffering, I think if you can like withstand your own suffering to still try to like fight the good fight, then it's like, are you really suffering? Because at least you're doing something like selfless, something that maybe this isn't going to benefit me in my own lifetime because I'm about to die. But like someone else is going to hear that, they're going to see that, they're going to read it, and they're going to be like, oh, I like the way that guy thinks. Like I'm gonna like integrate some of those similar properties into my own life, and maybe it's a different hybrid, but I feel like that is kind of like how revolutions start, is like not by just one person standing up being like, yo, fuck this, like I'm not doing this shit anymore. It is like a trickle down effect of enough people getting pissed off and just like fucked over. Yeah, exactly.
Eventually the pressure needs a release valve.
And every bubble has its like bursting point.
Yes, and I think that you're right. Like what you just did there was you described climbing out of hopelessness. Mm-hmm. Like they're trying to put you into a state of despair so that you don't see all the options that you have to that's essentially all that we're trying to do here is fighting the hell that is hopelessness and choosing to continue to find a meaning in whatever it is that keeps you going.
And it doesn't have to be anything like extravagant either. It could just be like, all right, I got up today and I didn't cry.
Yeah.
And that's like a win. And I feel like I read something recently too that was like, asking for help doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you are capable of making yourself vulnerable. And like some of the richest people in the world cannot ever stand to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And that is like such a strong characteristic trait, to be a vulnerable person, because you are allowing yourself to just feel all of these things and not crumble and die or like kill yourself over. And that, I think, blows their mind, because they're like, why didn't this person just off themselves? Or like, why didn't this person just like check out entirely? Or because they couldn't fathom ever being put through that and waking up the next day. And no matter what, unless you do kill yourself, you are going to wake up the next day and you have an entire list of decisions to make again. And that's a beautiful thing, because I feel like I'm in a good position to like say this, but like everything and anything could be going wrong. But dude, like my life is like a hellhole right now, but I'm having like a great Thursday just like chatting with you. Like shit sucks, but like it could probably be worse. It could definitely be better. But like there's a lot of decisions to make, and I'm going to decide to like have a good conversation with someone. It's going to boost my mood. I'm going to like do the things that I know I like to do, whether they're like cost effective or not. But I'll wake up tomorrow unless something happens. Yeah,
eventually you realize that pressure is what creates the greatness. Like there's no possible way that I continually with this podcast, like have a conversation with my wife. I sit her down and I'm like, we're failing. How do we do better than what we're doing right now? There's no revenue, like we're not getting views, we're not climbing a ladder. YouTube's an algorithm that we're poking, and eventually you should be able to figure out how the the algorithm works. And she'll very nice.
You should.
We should be able to, but she's very nice. Like, oh no, look at the progress we've made, and like da 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 da. Like you used to podcast like this, and now look at it looks better. And I'm like, I know, but the only way for us to actually move in the direction we want to is to figure out we have to admit that we're failing. You have to be vulnerable and say, we're not where we want to be though, because this isn't providing a home for us. If we were in a house right now, then we could say, okay, this progress is good and we're in a house. So that now, like, we have to tie something to it. I don't know.
Well, it's like, I don't know, it's such like a consumeristic society that I feel like I heard someone say, like, if you monetize every passion of yours, you will be like a bleak human, because you are just constantly searching for, like, the money in every passion that you have, and that depletes the passion itself. And so it makes it harder, and you become, like, more critical of yourself of, like, is this making money? Are you making yourself happy, though? You know? And it's like, maybe you can't, like, buy yourself a house doing the podcast, but are you having a good time doing it? And that...
I think the house, maybe that's not a good, like, example, but like,
anything
it's not the way that I want it to look.
Doing the podcast. And
it's not the way that I want it to look. It's not where I want it to be yet. It's not complete yet. And we're not there. And why are we not there? Like, what is the reason? Well, and that's like the
in-between to figure out and, like, keep troubleshooting to be like, all right, like, this thing worked, this thing didn't.
Yeah.
I think the algorithm
How are we
thing...
failing?
I think that's a manipulative thing, because I think it is intentionally constantly changing, because people will, like, try to hack the algorithm of, like, oh, like, I did this to get, like, 50 million views. And it's just like, how much did you have to pay for that, though?
I hate the algorithm. Like, I can't stand that. You can't, like, it's a rigged game, and I know that going in.
Take me out back and shoot me, or shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's a rigged game, and it's rigged in so many different ways. Even, there's a degree where I've said all the things. Like, I've made so many points about sports and football and funny jokes and comedians, and no matter what, it doesn't get picked up.
Yeah.
So there's something else happening that it doesn't like me for some reason.
Because you're speaking your truth.
But Twitter told me. They told me directly, you're someone that we do not want to promote. So we're not going to promote any of your stuff. And at least I know that, like, okay, I know to waste no money on Twitter because they think I'm a robot and I'm never going to get any promotion on there. I'm annoyed with the fact that there's a puzzle here, and I haven't figured out the puzzle. And for me, it's like in the back of my mind, like, let's fucking figure this puzzle out.
Yeah, well,
because I'm just annoyed with
need, like,
fucking
the
Google.
information, and you want to, like, get it to click.
And it's illegal. Like, it should be illegal that they don't tell me how that shit works.
Yeah, there's no blueprint to it.
Why don't you put your algorithm out? That's insane that you're able to not do that.
Because I don't even think they know. I don't think they know either. Because there's millions of people involved in it, and every single person. And it's
tailored to you, and they don't want you to know that, hey, I know all this stuff about you, and I'm trying to hack your brain. That's really where they're at.
Did you ever watch The Social Dilemma?
Yes.
So that, my dad turned me on to, like, years ago, and it, like, all of these apps are designed intentionally to keep your face in that app. It is going to show you things. Even when you're just scrolling through your For You page, it knows when you are, like, pausing. You don't even have to click on the video. It can scan that. It knows which out of the 9 that you're looking at right now. It can, like, for a computer, to figure out of, like, 9 pictures which one you're probably looking at and not clicking on because you want to try to, like, trick the algorithm, it knows. It already knows.
Why do we have face cams? They're watching your eyeballs. Like, they're looking at where your eyes are at so that they can start figuring out how to get you guys to hate each other. Yeah.
It's like a 2-step game.
That's why I was asking earlier about your phone and whether you allow emails in there. Because I got that email from Apple Podcasts. I don't usually get emails because I don't let anybody.
I unsubscribe to everything that isn't, like,
no one should be able to contact me. I want to get rid of the goddamn iPhone so much, but you use it for everything, especially posting clips, doing social media. You need to take a picture real quick. We should take a picture after this. I keep forgetting to do fucking pictures after podcasts, but, like, there's so many reasons that you could use it. And I could use another camera for everything, but it's so much more of a hassle. Yeah. It really is. So I don't know what the solution is. I've been working with a flip phone, going back and forth with that. Sometimes I'll carry that around.
Phones, yeah.
Just
like
a prepay.
Sidekick. Yeah, dude, prepaid phones. Yeah, that's, like, where it's... I turned on one of my old cell phones that's, like, beat to shit. It's, like, all shattered. But I only need Wi-Fi to hook it up, so I don't get any, like, regular emails unless I'm, like, attached to my network, and I can just basically use it as, like, a burner phone, which is sick.
Nice.
And then kind of, like, similar. I don't fully understand why, but like everyone in Miami talks on WhatsApp. I don't know if it's because it's like 10 times more encrypted or like what the deal is. Maybe
Definitely
it snows
not
constantly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's the level of encryption on WhatsApp is insanely low. You can hack into that shit. That's how
See,
a
that's
bunch
such
of
a weird thing to me.
well,
because
Zuckerberg is a piece of human garbage. He is doing evil deeds, and I think he's afraid of whoever runs him. Did you see him in Congress when he went to drink the glass of water? He was shaking like a leaf. He was like,
yeah, one wrong move and you'll just be like executed.
yeah,
like kill
because
switch
I don't know who his
entirely.
boss is, but he's got a boss, and he's a clone. I don't know what's up with him.
He's a reptilian.
Well, then they
last
just
I
all of a
heard.
sudden made him do jujitsu, and he got jacked for a little bit, and he's like, "So I'm real cool, UFC guys, right?"
See, but that hits like such like a Joe Brogan like demographic immediately.
Not
And
even. I'm the Joe Rogan, and it's like, no, that you're not the thing that you're pretending to be. It's like, no, you're still a robot.
Yeah,
like just
you
because
can
you're
see
like,
through
ha
it.
ha ha ha, I do jujitsu, like does not. What?
He is such a robot too.
Yeah. He's just such a.
I think the
know what they're doing
authenticity and like the persistence, like maybe it doesn't get to the type of audience, not even the type of audience, but like the level audience that you want. I think there's still something really satisfying, like dismantling that perfectionism, saying what you want to say, acting how you want to act, as long as you're not hurting yourself, hurting anyone else, and putting it out there. And like maybe it's not getting 50 million views, but maybe you're getting like 5 views. But those 5 people, that's 5 more agreeing opinions, or even if they don't agree with everything that you say, which is like a good thing. That's 5 more people in your corner than you had yesterday. And
Oh, yeah, it's
people are like, oh, 5 views isn't a lot. And I keep seeing this thing like 5 wolves in your room would be a lot.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, you reach one person. I think it's just frustrating over time. I think anything you do for a long time. I don't know what I was expecting when I got into this. You know?
Yeah.
I truly don't. I thought it was going to be. I thought if someone yelled loud enough, they'd be able to make noise, and I would be able to like annoy Dave Portnoy enough for him to like try and abuse me. I didn't know what I was doing before, but when I piss someone off so that they lose their shit on me, and I can see in their eyeballs all the deep, dark things that is coming out of them, it's like, oh, that's when I learn all the things that I learn. That's when I learn who you are as a human being.
See, but then it kind of like goes back to that like manipulative thing where like, are you using this for good or evil? Because like I know what pushes those buttons now. I know exactly like how to get to those buttons. I wish the algorithm was like as clear as humans were. And humans are very intricate, like delicate issues to deal with. But it's not that hard. And I feel like people don't want to admit that about themselves. Like everyone's like, oh, like humans are so complex. Yeah, you're complex, but like, what are you, 30? Like you only have 30 years worth of shit to try to like dig through real quick.
And
for
it's
people,
just one. Someone touched your butthole when you were 5. I know that's what it is.
It all goes back
just
to
get
childhood
over
anyway.
it.
Like it all goes back to childhood
I know.
anyway. Yeah.
And I have this conversation too with people all the time. Like, let's say you came from a really abusive home and like you had to overcome those things. That's how you grew in your life, right? Mm-hmm. What's the opposite of that? No one yelled and screamed one time in your
So
childhood,
you don't
and it was
know any discipline?
or like, but now when you go outside and you see someone having a conversation with someone else, it's so loud and you're so afraid. So no matter what, you're traumatized and you're working through whatever childhood trauma you had. And the trauma is there either way. I don't even think trauma is a good word. It's just like experience.
I feel like trauma is kind of like the
Loaded
word trauma
question.
has been so not manipulated, but it's been so overused that it kind of takes away some of the power. So like when someone's like, oh, you must have had like a traumatic childhood, that doesn't mean you were getting like abused. It might just mean that your parents didn't give you enough attention, or like they didn't push you towards things, they weren't paying attention. Maybe they had like arguments behind closed doors, so you never learned conflict resolution. Like that's pretty traumatic, and that can create even more traumatic experiences as you get older because you don't know how to deal with that. And it's a very real life problem where like, I don't know, I feel like I was saying like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, whatever, that I almost like feel bad for people who had like happy childhoods because nothing went wrong. There was no troubleshooting. Like if like maybe you had a happy childhood and your parents discussed conflict resolution or like they sat you down. I don't really think any of our parents or our parents' parents were doing that because they weren't taught that. And I feel like we're in a really good time period of like people our age or like maybe a little bit older teaching their children conflict resolution because they're trying to keep their shit together. They don't want to raise their children the way that they were just raised because they didn't have a great time. You might have had a happy childhood, but no one can give you 100% what you need. And I think that's like a good thing to have like two parents, whether it's like same sex or like different sex, whatever. But you need these two like
balance.
Yeah, there's a balance there, and I feel like
male and female energy, positive and negative, like soft and hard.
Yeah.
You need that.
Good cop, bad cop.
You
Like,
have
need
to have that
the
to
duality.
learn.
Yeah. Otherwise, your brain is just like, oh, this is the one way to do things, and anything else is wrong. It's like, no, it's just not the way that you were taught.
Correct.
And that's like fine, but now we can teach each other the ways that we learned, and I feel like a lot of that just kind of comes out from like personal relationships anyway.
Yeah, and whenever parents are trying to prepare their children, they're preparing their children for a world that doesn't exist.
A world that doesn't exist in the world that they experienced, and everything is so different now.
Yeah.
Like no one used to lock their doors. That's because they weren't like broadcasting about like sociopaths on the news like that. Like shit was advertised differently. Like no one locked their doors because they didn't know that they should be locking their doors.
Ignorance.
Exactly. And like, it's not that someone wouldn't have come up and killed you. There's just like, it just breeds different humans over time, and you need to be able to adapt. And a lot of people are not adaptable. I'm finding. I feel like a lot of people just kind of like
that flexibility,
flip out, or like have something bad happen and then kind of back to that despair, like the puddle of that, where you like have something bad happen that you've never had to deal with before. That's a good thing. Dealing with new things, dealing with bad things that are not fun. It teaches you resilience, adaptability, how to get yourself out of situations and give yourself, no one else, but you give yourself a stronger foundation so that when shit happens, inevitably, because it will continue to happen, you're like, all right, I haven't experienced this thing before, but I know I got through that. So I can definitely get through this. I don't know how I'm going to get through it, but I'm going to get through it. Or someone's going to take me out back and shoot me.
Yeah. No, that's good. I like it.
And then if you had a bad childhood, you kind of like, unfortunately, by the time you're like 20, you're like, fucking, I got this.
It's just the patterns. We get patterned by whoever until we're age 7. Then our brain state changes from theta or into theta, I forget which. And then you're just dealing with these things that you don't understand you're going to live out. Because you saw them, you're going to live them out in some way, unless you consciously have gone back and corrected them to become the person that you want to become by changing your patterns.
Well, and you're going to like, and I think this is like such a magical thing, and it's like disturbing. But if you don't deal with the problem, it is going to rear its head in a completely different way. It's like almost intentionally trying to trick you to deal with it the same way that you did before so that it keeps happening. You keep yourself in the same patterns if you cannot recognize patterns, because you're not going to realize like, oh, this is the same shit, just different. Mm-hmm. And then you just stay the same. Or you victimize yourself into like, why is all of this happening to me? It's not. It's all just happening to everyone. Everyone's just dealing with it differently. Everything. And I don't think it's a negative thing to say that like shit is going to always happen. Like that, it would just be ignorant to think that like, okay, I made it through like these 10 hurdles, like everything's going to be smooth sailing. No, you're about to get like fucking humbled probably.
Yeah. That's right, when it comes, whenever you're least looking. But that's why I think that finding ways to beat yourself down, and what I mean by that is like ground yourself. Mm-hmm. And that Rogan, the brosphere, has really been helpful for me to go to the gym and just fucking work it out of me. Like, try and run 5 miles on the treadmill or outside or whatever, and then like complain about something, because it's hard to do, and you gotta. Everything will be easier after you do that.
Well, and that's like the physical discipline too. Is like, if you are not like an active runner either, like running 5 miles, like I can run a mile, but it's like a little rough. But I don't want to, and I don't have the self-discipline to do that. But if I do, I'm like happy-go-lucky after that, because you do experience that runner's high, and your brain is like, oh, I just did this really hard thing. But when you think about like, oh, I'm just going to run a mile, it doesn't sound that hard. But then physically having to go through it, it does teach your body that you can do hard things and that you'll come out alive on the other side.
For sure. I think that the stand-up is a big thing too. Like, people go out, go out and put yourself out there. You know?
I had that thought after last night where I was like, all right, it's not that I need the balls to like, I don't know, I keep saying like, oh, I don't have the balls to do stand-up. I don't have the balls to get up there for the first time and be bad at it. And like, I'm okay being bad at things. Being bad at something in front of a bunch of people is like a different sort of thing. But it's like rejection.
It's a high.
It's like, it is a high.
It's a high, though.
And I think after last night, I was like, oh, I want to experience that high, actually.
You
like,
just stand there and you got nothing. And you don't know what it's like to have everybody stare at you. And everyone's looking at you like, you're going to make us laugh, clown. And you're just like, but I forgot what I was going to say. In my mind, I was just going to Rogan or Segura this and Bert Kreischer, and I was just going to walk up here and be cool and then tell you about the flowers that I was cutting. And you were going to laugh a bunch.
And then no one laughs, and you're just like, okay, then carry on to the next
you don't know
thing.
what it's like when everybody's talking over here at the bar, how to like get the attention of the room. It's there's so much to it.
I admire comics so much because I feel like that is such a craft because you have to be good at talking to people / talking at people without letting the surrounding noise like stifle what you are trying to communicate, and you need to communicate it in such an efficient way that you keep everyone's attention, or at least the majority of their attention. You need to get them on your side, and I find that so like admirable, and like I want to.
It's such a tough craft to master. The writing is really. I've learned so much over the year listening to the comedians talk about it because you really have to reduce it to the only what needs to be there. Get rid of all the fluff that surrounds it and then you find out that there's magic words.
Yes.
And it's like, oh no, if I say it like this, no one laughs. But it's the same joke essentially. But if I say this first, all of a sudden, boom.
Or like how quickly you say things or how much of a pause you let there be. You need to, it is, again, like the word manipulative, just kind of like you need to learn to manipulate the crowd to like get them on the same page or like in the direction that you're trying to take them. You need to learn how to deal with people. You need to learn how to get people to listen to you and like say things that make them want to listen to you. And words are magic. It's such a weird thing.
Spellcasting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. Bill Burr has a style of comedy where he digs himself into a hole and then climbs himself out of it. But it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just the way that you can divide a room by saying something about men and women or black and white. And then all of a sudden you get half a laugh and half a reaction. And now there's chaos in the crowd.
But now you need to fuse them together.
I know. And then you find a way to alchemize that experience and get us all on the same page because we actually all hate McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then like,
And
now we're on the ride together.
Now we're all laughing together about this thing. And like, you thought the room was divided. So like, why are we all here in the same place then?
You're just playing with contrast the same way that you would fucking with flowers, right?
Yeah. You just got to make it appealing.
It is just so funny. I listened to Ali DeFranco, who is, I think she runs Witch City Comedy, and she runs the Wednesday night open mic night at the Den.
Hallowed Ground.
Hallowed Ground. She also has the comedy show that was voted best comedy pilot at a New York Film Fest that is a pilot about
A New York.
Salem.
Well, yeah, but Salem comedy.
Comedy, yeah. But she did an interview with this guy, Citizen Salem, and she was talking about how she's actually like a writer and actress and shit. And when she said that, it all made sense.
Yeah.
Because I go to that comedy open mic, which is such a cool scene of interesting people, but it's not a comedy open mic.
Yeah.
They're all doing, I don't want you to think that they're not doing, they are, but they're doing jokes almost as if they're aware that they're going to need to tell a joke in a film at some point in time.
You think so?
Like, I've been watching these people for years, and they do the same jokes.
Yeah.
And they didn't do a special and change up their shit.
Yeah.
So now that I know that they're not comedians, they don't know that they're supposed to write all the time. And in my mind, I'm like, why are you guys not writing all the time? But they are, because they're writing scripts.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I can
Their
see that.
comedy is funny. If it were like in a script, they're making jokes and they're making punchlines and they're making funnies, but it didn't
when it's like
make sense
repetitive,
in my mind.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand their background. Now it makes sense.
But I feel like you have to almost kind of be a bit of an actor to do that because you have to like put on the persona of the person that is okay getting potentially negative feedback from an audience while still just like rolling with whatever it is that you wrote down that you are trying to perfect. And it's like that little script that you give yourself, whether it's changed week to week or not. But I feel like they absorb that like constructive criticism from the crowd, and I think that's like a not heavily discussed characteristic of comedians specifically is like actors, you're getting notes from like the director, the producer, whatever behind the scenes, like constantly they're like yelling at you. Your only constructive feedback or criticism is coming whether or not you got a laugh, and
directly from the
next
people in
week
the room.
you need to have been able to dissect your own script joke to be like, this is where the laughs fell off. Like, this is probably where I can insert myself a little bit more. It is like a constantly evolving thing. I feel like we have seen, after like going to the Wednesdays, like a few like consistent weeks in a row, there are a lot of like the same jokes. But I feel like you can hear after a while the evolution of those jokes.
Definitely.
And it almost makes it funnier because you're like, oh, I remember hearing this last week. This is like 10 times funnier this week because they did something a little different.
They're tweaking it.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted with how little I don't see new stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. But there's definitely...
It's a lot of the same people too, so...
Yeah, and you need to refine jokes. You need to tell them a bunch of times. But it's weird. Growing a scene, it's so hard. I don't know how Allie has the ability to like write any jokes and also host all of the shows for Which City Comedy. 7, they do multiple, sometimes they do 10 shows a week, which means that she's not even hosting them all. They got other people doing it. That's such an intense time requirement. And then look at her Instagram. It's fucking popping. She's on the cover of so many... she's got a hell of a lot going on.
Now,
So I don't know how you have time to sit down and like really grind and write.
And then be a human and take care of all of your own shit at the same time.
That's something I would love to have, like a writer's room in the North Shore, and just get Sunday nights at 7 to 9 somewhere. Just work on whatever it is that you're writing about. Like I got commercials that I'm coming up with or whatever.
Just like
I'm
a
looking
community
for punch.
writing period.
I would work on those jokes with them.
Yeah.
Like they don't want... It's so awkward for me to come up and be like, I know that you're saying this, but this is why it doesn't land.
Yeah.
But who the fuck am I?
I feel like we talked about this the last time that we talked too, though, is like being any sort of like an artist or a creative, you almost need to be the best at taking constructive criticism because your audience is the general public. And if you can't take what they're saying, if you can't take what your audience is like giving back to you for feedback, then like don't expect to make it, or you better be like really unique and niche to like be able to hone in on your own craft and do it the way that only you want to do without any other feedback. I feel like not a lot of people want feedback or constructive criticism. They don't want to know what they're doing wrong and what they could be doing better because that makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I'm like, be
uncomfortable is
specific.
just a different feeling. Like, don't you want to experience all of the feelings? Like, if you're a little uncomfortable with this now, you're not going to be. That just means that it's, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this, but
Uncomfortable is like what drives growth.
Yes,
It forces
exactly.
you to, because when you're comfortable, it leads to this relaxation
Stagnancy,
and stagnation leads to decay. So the only way to continue to grow is continue to be uncomfortable. That's why like we're always learning new shit. That design book, that was pretty cool to look through, right?
Yeah,
it's just
that
like,
was cool.
Here's a different, just giving me new ideas, and now things are percolating.
And that was more for like camera and film things, but I feel like I flipped to a random page and I was like, oh,
I'm going to use this.
This is how I want to like style my portfolio because of the contrast in it. And I was, that was like cool book to flip through.
It all overlays. That's what I realized.
Everything's connected. Yeah.
The cycles, the same cycles that I'm looking for in life are just the things that I was looking at the economic markets, right? The same cycles that I'm looking for. Oh, so I just got to pay attention to cycles. Like it's all the same shit. And
all
when
cycles,
I'm telling you a
patterns.
story, I want you to take you on a ride. I want you to take you on a roller coaster ride, which is just like a cycle that I just want to design in my mind.
Keep you like engaged, entertained. Yeah. And that makes like a good book or like a good film, a good skit is like something that like captures you, whether it like resonates specifically or not, or you could just look at it and be like, that's funny. Like
trying to evoke or elicit some sort of emotion.
Yeah.
Emotional response. And but again, I guess that's why we're manufacturing the same consent we're looking for. I'm trying to elicit you to buy a t-shirt.
It's manipulative.
Or whatever, yeah.
Have you ever read How to Win Friends and Influence People
I
by
have not.
Dale Carnegie? Dude, that is my top recommended book.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
My mom got it.
It's
Definitely. It might even be on my bookshelf.
like timeless, because I feel like the first time I read that was during the pandemic, and I remember kind of like laughing at one of the chapters because it was about the way you present yourself to other people is like walk in with a smile on your face and like greet people by name. But during the pandemic, everyone's wearing masks. Like no one knows whether you're smiling or like sticking your tongue out at them, which was kind of fun because you could just be like, oh my God, hey, Matt. And like no one knows. But it is just like the way you present yourself. And it is like a manipulative thing, but not in a negative way. Like manipulative is not inherently negative. It just means...
there's an awareness.
Yes.
Awareness of what you're presenting.
And not everyone's aware of what they're doing or how they're acting. And if you are the aware one in that situation, you can control them.
Yeah. Yeah. I avoided it for so long. I did not give a shit what I look like, what I did, how I present, because I don't care. You guys think, you do your thing,
You're going
I'll
to
do
think
mine.
whatever you think anyway, so fucking whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. But eventually you realize that that's working against you to some degree.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a level of like not giving a fuck versus like giving enough of a fuck to like...
To get by in a society.
Yeah.
There is like a line that delineates me. So just as homeless as I am as the people on the outside to some degree, right? But I can walk in and out of the building. They can't.
Yeah.
Just because I care a little bit about...
Personal appearance.
But if you look at our bank account, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're the same person. But
I keep joking with my friend where she was like, I'm staying with my friend's mom right now. And she's like, oh, my mom owes me a lifetime of... What'd she say? I was like not in a place for her to be making this joke. I was like literally in my car at 6:30 in the morning crying. And she was like, oh, my mom used to take in homeless people all the time. She can afford to take in one of my homeless friends. And she was like, ha ha ha. And I was like, she's like, I'm sorry, that was bad. I was like, I'm laughing, but I'm also crying. And it's just like I have a home. And home is within yourself. But like it is so subjective and everything is always changing.
Oh,
but like
yeah.
you don't know what someone else is going through, or like it is the way that you present yourself, definitely.
100%. You don't realize how much that plays a role. And that's the thing. I was talking to Christina about this too. I know statistics and economics, so I know that more than 50% of the people that I interact with every day, probably way more because I'm also not getting a clear segment of the population, have less than $500 in their bank account at all times for any emergency. So most people in this country are living paycheck to paycheck. The vast majority of people that I interact with are living paycheck to paycheck. Most people spend to their financial means. So they spend their whole paycheck, and that is the stability or the life that they create for themselves because they don't know how to save, because they don't truly know what they really need. Because they've never asked themselves, well, what do I really need?
What am I comfortable not having?
Correct. And I've never tried not having the television, so I've always paid $200 for cable. Or I've never tried not having Netflix, so I've always paid the $20 a month. And
It's
that's always a
important
tax.
I feel like everyone in their life, whether you're financially well off or if you're not financially well off, then you already kind of know how to do it. But like living below your means is the greatest exercise you can give yourself ever. Like limit yourself. Like maybe you get a steady paycheck. Maybe you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Give yourself like $100 to live off a week and see how that goes.
Just see what life is like.
And just see what it's like. Because it's not that you're going to be like, all right, fuck that. Like, I'm going to make so much more money. No, you're going to like appreciate different things. You're going to appreciate the little things a lot more because you're like, all right, I feel fine not paying $200 a month for cable because like I can just stream shit for free if you have like an internet connection. And if you don't, then you can like find entertainment elsewhere. And like entertainment itself has been a thing since the start of man. So it's like, there's always something to like fill your time with. A lot of it just is consumer based nowadays. And so it's like, if you don't have the money, it's like a pay to play game, but it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be.
Well, because the imagination comes back.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden
No
you're
one has an
forced
imagination.
to imagine things.
You have to. Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden you're like, I have $100. How am I going to eat? It usually costs me $100 for one meal and I have to eat 3 times today.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard for somebody. But
Yeah.
now you're like, well, I've never been into what is this? A 7-Eleven? What is this store? Oh, well, now you're doing new shit and your
Yeah.
brain's growing and now all of a sudden neuroplasticity is like fucking taking off because you're like, oh, they have egg sandwiches
Yeah.
in here. You buy a $5 egg sandwich and you puke and you're like, oh, this food is
Now
not like the food that I usually
No,
have.
but you know what? That's the thing too. Is like you get a $7-Eleven or 7-Eleven like hot dog sandwich. Maybe you throw up the first time. The next time, your stomach's gonna be a little bit stronger. It knows what to deal with.
Welcome to be
It's like-
poor, buddy.
It's like being a vegan and then going back to meat. Your body body's like, fuck, no. But you can do it.
You're conditioned.
You can always go back. Yeah, you just condition yourself.
Yeah, we just got to condition ourselves because when we put ourselves in those different moments of pressure, that's when you realize what you're capable of.
People, like, humans are, like, in a weird, this sounds like weird to say, but humans are superhuman, like, in a weird way. Because,
Definitely.
like, I found out the funny way, like, you will, in fact, not spontaneously combust. Despite my grievances, I will not just explode and no one's going to take me out back and shoot me. Like, you will wake up the next day. You just have to, like, get yourself to it. You need to
You
keep
said
yourself
the last time, most emotions are fleeting.
entirely.
So important to
God,
understand.
like fucking 20 minutes tops, depending on what it is. And, like, maybe that feeling or emotion will continuously come back because maybe you're not dealing with it each time, or like you're just stifling it, or you're just distracting yourself, and that's okay, like, depending on the emotion. Like, sometimes you need a good healthy distraction, and it doesn't really matter what your vices is as long as you don't become, like, enslaved to them. Just get yourself to the next day, and it is going to be a new day. You're gonna have new decisions to make. Like, most emotions are fleeting.
The environment's going to change. You don't realize it, but the environment's going to change. And I feel like we were talking about the weather earlier. I feel like
the weather
sometimes
lately.
this is an attack.
I think so too.
When I don't get to see the sun for like 30 days, oh God. It's
I
such
remember a
an
couple
attack.
years ago we reached there was like 2 years in a row it was like we broke the record for 100 years with snowfall, and then we broke it with rainfall, where we had like 100 days of rain, and it was like the most rain that we had statistically in 100 years. And I was like, that was the most depressing fucking year ever. It was just gray and rainy constantly, and it's just like, it was miserable. And I remember like gardening during this year, and sure, the plants are all like lush and happy and shit, but I'm miserable. And it does change. It changes. Like, maybe you'll have the same weather for like 30 days or something, but
just get until tomorrow. The sun can come out. It might be a beautiful day, and you don't know what that blue sky is going to do for your outlook on everything. Because tomorrow you're going to come up with the new solution, and you're just going to be like, I didn't realize that the wheelbarrow that I was looking for is right over there.
Yeah.
And like, that's all I needed.
because when you have such tunnel vision of like everything is going to shit, there's nothing I can do differently. All you have to do is do something different. Like, don't keep yourself in that black hole. Like, I could have easily just like sat in my room today on my bed with my cat and just been like, wow, I fucking hate my life. Like, everything's going to shit. Like, there's nothing I can do about this. Just go out and like do what you can for yourself.
Yeah,
It'll
there's
be
only
fine.
so much you can do.
Yeah. And if it's not fine today, maybe it'll be fine tomorrow. And if it's not fine tomorrow, you got the next day to figure it out. And it's like,
Or maybe this journey isn't meant for me. Maybe it's time for me to figure
Check
out a new
out.
way. You
Yeah.
know, like, no, I didn't mean check out permanently.
yeah, it's like,
I mean, like, maybe I'll
I'm gonna
stop
move
being
to
a
Florida
florist.
for it. Yeah, no, exactly.
yeah.
And that's like I was saying earlier, I think that's why it always feels good. Not always, but it usually feels pretty good telling someone no, or like, this is past the capacity that I'm able to like manage right now. And that is immediately liberating, because then you're not forced to struggle to make this thing work for someone else. You know it's not going to work for you, so it's not for me. And I would rather... It's weird because I feel like I haven't even had to like fight off the thought of like, oh, you're a failure because you don't want to do weddings. I didn't set out to do weddings. I just started with weddings. And so I'm like kind of back and forth very frequently lately on whether or not I just want to like shut Daisy Florals down and be like, all right, like that didn't work out, but at least I tried and at least I did it for a while. I don't think Daisy Florals needs to die. I think it just needs to reinvent itself doing something completely different, because like I'm still here. I'm not going back to work full time anytime soon, and I'd rather struggle and make it work and find my own path, forge my own path.
Make it into what you want it to be, because otherwise it becomes a prison.
And it becomes
tell
something
people
that
that all
someone
the
else
time.
wanted, and that's not why I did this for
Yeah.
myself. Like, I did this to make myself happy and afford my own lifestyle. I've found my lifestyle's pretty fucking cheap, honestly. So,
Yeah, I'm not doing it to impress the people from high school with like a successful wedding floral business. I'm
Nope.
not doing it to impress my parents or fucking anybody else.
I'm doing it to impress my future or my younger self.
Yep.
Because I know little Ashley is like, holy shit, we have a business? We have a business. Like, you're waitressing, but we have a business? I'm like, yeah, girl. Like,
is
we did
cool.
it. Even if it doesn't
And
work
you just
out
get
forever.
to do cool shit. So this Miami, so you're working for somebody else doing the flowers. I've been trying to figure out any ways that I can do the same thing that you're doing and learn from somebody else that's making like productions
You
or
just
something
gotta
like
ask
that.
them. If you don't
Yeah.
ask, the answer's always no.
But it's been good experience. You're learning shit from people down there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's been cool. I feel like I stopped freelancing for maybe like a year and a half or so. And I was like only focusing on my own weddings or like my own events, and I was hiring freelancers. I forgot how much I enjoyed working with and for other people. Just not on like a full-time, like I don't want to have to like give my life to someone Monday through Friday and be like, I'm on your time. A handful of days a week out of like the month is fine with me. You make some money, you meet new people, you see how different creatives work and how they troubleshoot. And all it does is like enrich your life because you're like, all right, I saw this problem before. Like I didn't have to directly deal with it, but I saw how someone else dealt with it. Maybe it worked out, maybe it didn't. But now you have that knowledge, you have that experience. And I've only freelanced for one other florist down there so far, but I've like gone back a couple times to work for her, and she's amazing. Beautiful style, amazing person. A lot of people that I worked with, I'm still in contact with and like message with like fairly regularly, honestly. I'm going back next month to work for someone different. And it's been nice. I feel like I get to do a lot of different things that are within a similar realm. Like I'm still working with flowers, I'm still working with other florists, but it's in a completely different environment, and it's people who haven't had to experience 4 seasons or like a dead winter. So they just have like a different way of living, and that has been like very refreshing to me because they're not like, oh, like what do you do in the winter? Like we just have like all of these events down here, and I'm like, we just die in the winter and we just like go into hibernation, and it's like bleak.
You bring
and
that
miserable.
excitement and that buzz to the people that are kind of like, nah.
Yeah.
So it's nice. That's probably a nice little balance. But
Definitely.
learning from all of them, that sounds so cool. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I've been trying to look for ways to integrate that into my practice as well. Try and learn from as many people. I guess it's easier with the video stuff. I can just watch people and podcast. I guess I naturally
like,
watch
go backwards
podcasts.
and like dissect it too, kind of like you were saying, like see what equipment other people or other podcasters are working with and see like what works for you out of those things.
And then just trying to, like you said, same way that you're trying to find the design for your business, trying to find the fit that feels like, all right, this is a studio that works for me.
doing this. Yeah.
But you're right in terms of the getting rid of stuff. Like even little things. I had so much cluttering my room that I had to get rid of a couch. Once I got rid of the couch, well, now I moved my desk over, and then I got a new editing computer, and now I have a full studio set up. Well, why didn't I have that before? Because I had a fucking couch in the way that I was too annoyed to get rid of.
Yeah.
It will all open up for, as soon as you get things out of your life, now you have so much room for other things in your life.
And that's so true for like physical possessions, personal possessions, whether it's like a person or like just someone in your life or like a job or where you live. You just change something, you get rid of something, or you implement something new and different, and it does something to your brain, and you're like, oh, okay, like I can see and I can think clearly, or like I can think differently now. And I feel like I've almost had like the opposite sort of issue with like my design studio, is like I had to bring my couch there and I had to bring all of my personal belongings there. And now I'm like, I can't even like design in here because it's like my apartment. Yeah, it's all of my shit here. And I liked having that like difference. And so now that I'm starting to like move stuff back out again and like get rid of things, I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm feeling like inspired and like creative again. And
the flow's back.
Yeah.
It's so weird how that works.
It has a lot to do with your
fucking
physical space.
the whatever you call it.
Yeah. Physical, at least for like me, and I feel like I learned this about myself within the last like 6 years. Physical space is huge. Like I don't require a lot of space. I just need enough space to breathe and like do things without so much clutter. But I enjoy having like my shit around me. Like I like my eclectic style, and it feels, there's just so many different things that aren't floral related, but it helps with my floral design. And I think that that's something that I appreciate about my own style, is it is not strictly florals. It's like anything and everything I can get my hands on, because it's a creative medium, and flowers are just like an aspect of that design process, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
Feng shui, physical space.
Understanding energy and flow and all that shit.
And listening to your body of like what feels good and what doesn't, and then deciphering that, because I feel like the message that your brains give you are not always like, hey, we need to get rid of this exact one thing and we will feel so much better. It's like something's off. I can't tell you exactly what it is. You need to go figure that out. And you just need to troubleshoot. You just need to like get rid of some random things. Be like, oh, I missed that thing. Go buy it again if you need to. Like whatever. Get rid of other shit because the more space you have to stretch out, the more you will, in fact. I feel like humans are kind of like goldfish in that way. If you give yourself the room to grow, you'll grow.
Yeah.
But if you just keep yourself trapped in a small tank, that's all you have. That's all you're going to do. You're not going to grow. You're not going to like look at things differently. You're just going to be like, I'm just in this tank floating around.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that I think you're far more sociable 2 months later.
That's what I feel like a couple of people have said that lately. They're like, you're so like chit chatty. And I was like, I feel like I was like a hermit for like the last 2 years of my life.
I understand that though, because I also have lived that lifestyle and it's hard to shake that rust off. But for people at home too, like if you are that.
If you're shut
solo.
in right now, go out somewhere. You don't have to drink. You don't have to do any drugs. You don't have to do anything different except get yourself out there.
And just be around other human beings that you have to interact with in some way. There's so many opportunities for you to avoid human contact in this world that we have now created for ourselves. But human contact is so critical. And I don't know why after even just going to the supermarket, walking around and like bumping into people and being, excuse me, you just feel better after because you've had human contact.
Yeah, I think, and it can like, I understand where some people might come from of like, oh, it's just like so exhausting. Don't you sleep better at night though? Because you are like exhausted. You depleted these like areas of your brain and like your physical self of like, wow, all right, I don't want to see anyone for the next like 2 weeks. And that's fine. But at least you did it. At least you got yourself out there. You're like talking to someone new or different. You're hearing a different perspective. Otherwise, you are just in your own head. You're just thinking the same thoughts. You're thinking whatever thoughts are being broadcasted to you. But human interaction is massive. It's
critical.
And I think it's like, that's like another manipulative thing. I think that's like a very intentional thing is to keep people within certain groups, within certain circles, to keep people from talking to each other. Like social media is the most ironically not social thing ever. And people are like, oh, I get like my social skills from like social media. And it's just like, no, you're a keyboard warrior.
You have
Like,
no
go
idea.
out and have a conversation with someone. How red does your face get the first time you say hello to a new stranger? And then can you, like, get yourself through that discomfort? I was, like, joking with my friend. I think it was the second time I went down to Miami in February. And he's like, how's it going? I was just like, oh, I just, like, autistically made a new friend. There's, like, a girl that randomly sat next to me because she was like, oh, is this seat open? I'm by myself just having a smash burger at this bar. Like, just literally hanging out because I had nothing else to do that day. I wasn't working. And she's like, oh, is anyone sitting here? I'm like, nah, the seat's open, whatever. And then we're both just like sitting there. I noticed no one else is with her. So I'm like, are you here alone? And it like, I probably looked like a sociopath or sounded like a sociopath. This girl and I text, she's from Iowa.
Yeah.
She was just down there for work. And now I got a new friend because.
That used to be every day in the early 2000s.
I love that shit.
Yeah. You're in a coffee
love
shop,
meeting
you're
new
standing
people.
there and then like, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
What do you
I
think?
like your shirt.
Yeah. Did you watch
Where'd
the
you
Red
get-
Sox last
Yeah.
night? What do you think of that fucking home run that they
Dude,
hit? Or like
sports
whatever.
knowledge is
Yeah.
kind of like my favorite because I don't watch sports, but I love knowing enough to
get by?
regurgitate. Yeah, enough to get by and like regurgitate to like
Home
someone.
run.
Yeah,
Field goal.
fucking love the bees.
Yeah.
The bees
Love
just smashed them.
The
Yeah.
hockey with the sticks.
I think the last time I was down there was actually playoffs, and I was like sitting in front of this tattoo shop for whatever reason, in front of a dive bar like across the street, whatever. But they in the bar where I was like sitting across from, you could see it on the TVs. They had like the Miami Heat game on. I forget who they were even fucking playing because I don't know and I don't care. I just know it wasn't the Celtics playing. But I'm in Miami, so I like notice Miami Heat, and I'm like into this game because I'm like, oh shit, like I'm in Miami. They're like point for point. They had like a 3-point lead, and then you should have seen the dude's face when the other team like they nailed and they kicked out Miami Heat, whatever. But then I was like talking about that for the next like couple of days with people in Miami that I would meet because they would be talking about the game, so you can like butt into conversations or just like make new friends, and they're like, how the fuck do you know? And it's just like, oh, I don't, but I was
here,
there for
obviously, for that
like,
game.
so-
Are you kidding me?
And then it like. They're like, all right, this person clearly, it just sparks a different type of conversation. Like,
People open up now. They're like,
weird.
oh, yeah.
Make it weird. Because worst case scenario, you never have to see this person again if you don't want to.
You'll get the vibe if it's not a thing that's going to happen. You'll get the vibe.
Yeah.
There was a bar that me and the wife go to, and their nachos are amazing. So one day a lady comes in and she orders she orders a cocktail or whatever, and she's looking at the menu. And I was like, these are the best nachos that you'll ever have. And she's like, that's good for you. And she turns, and I was like, oh, you're a cunt. I'm so glad I don't have to have a conversation with you, because I would have been wasting my fucking time.
Yeah.
And I was like, they are, and I'm going to enjoy them. And I fucking turned my shit around, and I was like, fuck you,
this
bitch.
lady. You don't get any nachos.
Yeah, I hope you get the fucking lobster. It went bad yesterday. It fucking turned 3 weeks ago, you cunt. I was so mad.
You want to know, I feel like in a past life, I must have been Australian because I love the word cunt. I feel like a lot of, like, specifically females, which, like, whatever, justifiable. I feel like a lot of, like, women get offended by the word cunt, and I don't know why. I think of it just like dude or
off
bro. It's
limits
just like,
for my mother, Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
She will swear at you in every fucking swear that's in the book. She's like, if you say the word cunt, she's like, ooh. And then I'm thinking of British people. It's like cheeky cunt.
Cunt. Yeah.
Cheeky cunt.
Cunts.
Cheeky bastard, man. Cheeky cunt. But I also lived in Australia, so it was the same thing.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I just picked it up, and it was just I don't usually use it too much either myself, but it's a fun one to throw in. It sauces things up.
It does.
It gets everybody excited.
No one they're like, whoa, did he just say that? It's just like, yeah, I fucking did.
Yep.
Terrified of a 4-letter word. How about this one? Fuck.
Yeah, I got another one for you, bitch. Oh, that's 5.
Bitch has been like, I feel like after rewatching Breaking Bad again for like the 9th time in my life, like bitch is basically like interchangeable with dude. Like, what up, bitch?
Yeah.
What's up, dude? I love the word
definitely.
Bitch. I like slurs.
I don't think any of the swear words do anything to me anymore.
Dude, you have to have something like really diabolically, like actually personal to like get under my skin. And I think and I said this to my friend the other day, and I know that it would still be a little bit of a projection, is if someone were to be like, you're exactly like your mother, then I'd be like, fuck you. No, I'm not. But like, yeah, dude, you could really call me anything and I'd be like, oh, that's cute. That's nice. I'm sorry you feel that way.
I just don't care.
I literally just don't care.
Yeah.
Unless it's like constructive criticism of like, hey, you should stop being such a bitch. I'd be like, maybe. Thanks for the input.
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, maybe. But like,
maybe I should chill out a little.
I like being a bitch right now. It's pissing you off.
Yeah. It's getting an
you away
emotional
from
reaction out of you.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
It's making me laugh. I'm going to continue bitching.
More people need to laugh. I feel like a lot of things are very like bleak and stale, and it's just like, well, even so, the comedy show here last week or the week before, Bar Crawl Comedy. My friend Thomas, or like this kid that I know, he put it on with Allie. Actually, they were like co-hosting it, and it seemed like they were kind of playing it safe with certain jokes. And I feel like playing it safe in the comedy world with jokes is to make things very sexual, because for some reason that is like a safe grounds within comedy.
I don't know about that.
No one wanted to offend anyone in Salem. It's just like, yo, just like rip off the Band-Aid, just let it rip. You gotta let it rip.
You gotta let it go.
Yeah.
You have to.
Otherwise, you're just in the same box that I feel like a lot of, specifically female comedians, get shit for, of like making things sexual, of like, oh, you only know how to be funny by making sex jokes. And like it's become such like a dried up like avenue for comedy, because it's just like, all right, what are you gonna do? Like talk about dick jokes now? Like cool. Like they're like, haha.
Yeah, whenever
it's unoriginal.
Jordan Jensen's hilarious. I don't know if you've seen her.
No.
She's obviously a female comic, and I love her. She's very funny. But yeah, whenever a female gets on stage and says anything about their vagina, I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't get it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
So maybe you just lose. I guess a lot of the comedy audience is probably men, so maybe you lose a lot of your the audience that's just usually in the club when you start talking about vagina shit. But same thing.
You think that like turns men off or like turns away?
It's just like unrelatable to me. But same thing with slutty self-deprecating humor. I've seen it so much.
Yeah, I feel like
it's just
I feel like that's such like a female comedian thing to do, is to like self-depreciate in such a male-dominated field. It's just like
Bert does it too. They all do it. Like Tom used to do it. Like self-deprecation is a style.
Well, and I
Fat
think
people do it.
I think it's a good buffer, because your skin might be a little bit thicker, because like if you are like a sex worker doing comedy, you're like, oh, I'm such a slut. Like no one's gonna take that from you. Like you can get called a slut and you're gonna be like, okay, and like cool, whatever. But I don't think it's like, I don't think it's sustainable for comedy.
Well, when you step on stage, I don't know who you are. Like, unless you're going to tell me a story about you being a stripper, like when Whitney Cummings steps on, like just steps out, she's just a white girl.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you're a whore until you start telling me you're a whore. Or like if you're not a whore, or like whatever you're into. Yeah. But she's got jokes about her dogs, and like she can joke about being a female and female tendencies of like mothering things and like looking for other ways to talk about femininity without necessarily hammering the vagina
like sexual,
or sex aspects of it. But then,
when I feel like we already live in such like a sexual climate where, I don't know how to explain this, but like
you're right, sex is oversold. It's so many areas. Stimulated. We're overstimulated with sex shit.
And it
Instagram and advertising
too, where it's just like movies. It becomes not even funny at this point. It's just like, all right, nice, like another dick joke or like another I'm a slut joke. It's just like, all right, like aren't we all sluts anyway? So
was
like
hilarious because it was out of the norm to talk about dick jokes.
Yeah.
But now the norm's dick jokes. So now we got to go back to not talking about dick jokes in order for the dick jokes to get funny again.
Yeah.
And we're back in a cycle.
Like surprising people. And like I feel like that is like a little bit of a key, and I can't really say because I've never.
You've been trying to turn our kids gay for so long and like turn them into girls that we've been talking about chopping off Yeah, it
just like doesn't do it for me anymore. I don't know.
It just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's where authenticity comes back into play. Of like, if you are authentically yourself, like I'd say Bill Burr set a name for himself because he does that thing where he like digs himself a hole, and then he like comes back out of it, and he's just like, and I did this, or like my wife said that, and
you're
like,
surprised that you agree with him because he's in a hole, and you're like, oh wait a minute, no, that's a good point though. Yeah. And then you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh no, we're on the same team.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't know. Do you know comedy's like about to take a massive dive? Has anyone told you this?
Why? Because the economy is?
No, it's just there's cycles to it, and it's way overinflated. The rock stars in the world are the comedians. And so it's been propped up.
The jesters.
And what's also happening is society is horrible for anyone who's living in it.
Yeah.
So what has been a nice, like, distraction, it's now like, oh, wait a minute, no, though nothing's changing, and you guys are just making the funnies, and you're all rich like gods now. Yeah. So fuck off. Yeah. Take your private jets elsewhere. That shit's not going to last. Well, so comedy's going to tank.
Like watching South Park or something. Like I love Matt and Trey Parker, but it's not like surprising at this point anymore.
It's not,
because it's like the most wild thing you can think of is kind of occurring in everyday life. So
it's playing out right before our eyes. You took a movie star and you made him like also a real estate mogul, and now he's the president of the United States.
And that's literally what's happening. So it's like it's not even. It's like the shock factor is gone because we're experiencing such shock constantly that it's not even like shocking of the time. Anymore.
You moved the Hollywood writers into reality, and now we're dealing with reality, so we don't need the Hollywood.
I wonder if that's intentional in itself too, to like dismantle like the entertainment like angle of everything. Because like I said, entertainment, comedy, theater, like all of these entertainment avenues have been put in place for so long to help people distract themselves from what's going on, that when you implement what is actually going on into this entertainment, it's not even entertaining or distracting anymore. You're just like, oh, fuck, I fucking hate everything that's occurring, and now I have to watch it on TV, not on the news. And it's like certain shows I stopped watching, I think, what was it, like 1876 or like 1776, whatever, like the prequel or whatever the fuck was to Yellowstone. There was actually like a really like 2 or 3 messed up scenes, and I think by the second one I was like, I'm tapping out, like I can't watch this, where they were like abusing Native American girls at boarding schools. And around that same time that I was watching that, they were literally digging up hundreds of bodies of children from old boarding schools where they sent Native Americans off of the reservations. So I'm like, it's way too real to be entertaining or like make me want to like dig into this thing and learn more about it, because it's such a real aspect of like what we're dealing with now and like what we dealt with then. And it's just like, it's all just the same shit everywhere. No one's doing anything different. Like, surprise me, shock me.
Hey, they're still slaves. Whoa, no way,
no one wants to admit that. We're all slaves.
Oh, fuck.
I've been reading a good book, that I kept like reading about Red Rising.
Nice.
I forget Pierce Brown, I think. And then when I bought it at Barnes & Noble, the dude was like, I can't keep this book off my counter. It's almost not even entertaining because it's literal class wars. They're just on Mars doing it. And it's just like everything that this guy is like explaining that the class wars are about and like the different colors, it resonates so deeply with like what we're actually dealing with.
Right
yeah.
now.
It's just like the lowest class is the slaves.
To talk about
on their backs
us.
and yeah.
You're using fiction.
It's just a colorful version. Dystopian sci-fi is
I live
not even
it. I don't need
dystopian
it,
sci-fi
like-
anymore. We're living it.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Tell me an awesome story.
Yeah.
Someone come up with something new. That's what I would love to see.
I heard a good joke.
Nice.
Yeah. You
Let's
want to
do
hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference between... This is in reference to Tiger Woods, by the way. I feel like I set this up awfully to begin with. Okay. What's the difference between a golf ball and a Mercedes?
Tiger's hidden one and one's hidden him.
Tiger Woods can drive a golf ball 300 yards without hitting a tree.
Oh, that's a good one. Talk about abused.
Yo.
That guy was abused.
Yeah.
He's a
Well, he
different
didn't have a
animal
childhood.
too. Yeah.
And so I feel like there's people who had bad childhoods, there's people who have good childhoods, and there's people who don't have childhoods.
There's also a level where we didn't know what the PGA was. I think that after it got bought by the Saudis, remember that transition where the Saudis were paying a bunch of, a couple of years ago here after the pandemic, what happened was the PGA Tour was, you would win a tournament, maybe you get $2 million. Who knows what they were taking in? They didn't disclose any of that information, but they paid you $2 million if you won the tournament. Saudis were like, oh, you're like ripping these people off. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars and you're paying that out like nothing. We're going to pay all you golfers $50 million just to come.
Yeah.
And play in Saudi Arabia. So then all these people left the PGA Tour, and the PGA Tour like put out a campaign to roast them as being terrorist sympathizers because the Saudis were really in charge of 9/11. Which you're giving away a little bit of the bag in the attack against them. Less than 1 year later,
yourself.
they sold the PGA to the Saudis. Less
'cause
than
they were
1 year. So let's get into business together. So it really, I soured on golf there, but I don't even remember. Why were we talking about that?
Pro-Am.
Fucking golf.
Fucking golf, dude. Do you want to know something? I can nail a golf ball. I have absolutely zero control, but there's a driving range between Swampscott and Salem. I forget what that street is.
I know what you're talking about, Paradise Road.
Yeah. And there's like a net there, like most. Dude, I
catches
can
them?
clear that net, and I kept nailing the same exact car. And I finally looked at my friend. We had like half a bucket of balls left, and I was like, dude, like I was nervous, laughing so hard I was almost crying because I kept hitting the same car.
I would hit that whole bucket at that car. I was like, what is this car doing here?
I was like Happy Gilmoreing it. I was like, how the fuck? Zero
Did you have
control.
a wind or something?
Nothing. Just like, and I tried like moving which way I like was like facing the ball. I was like, maybe I'll even try a lefty.
Shutting down the flower industry, and we are going into golf.
Yeah, it'll be like instead of me trying to play hockey and getting into golf, I'm like trying to do flowers, but I just keep somehow.
That's wild.
We'll figure it
That's
out.
hilarious.
Yeah. Can nail
But yeah,
it.
so I don't know what the fucking PGA Tour is, but they must have abused Tiger Woods. Oh, so he was like
Definitely.
the star child.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these industries that are manipulated by people that are much more powerful than us, they pick someone to be like the household name.
Yeah.
And that's how you get a Michael Jordan. I think with Michael Jordan, they had some dirt on him. His dad was a gambler. He's a gambling degenerate. So he had to fall in line to be the poster child for the shit that they were trying to sell. My guess is Tiger Woods was the same thing for golf. The black face on this white sport to get new people interested in it. And we know about all the whores that you're fucking everywhere.
Well, and I was just
and
like,
we won't tell anybody, and we'll give you $100 million every 10 minutes.
that's why it came up in conversation because I feel like I forget who it was that got him wrapped up in like. He went to like Vegas with someone and he got super into like gambling and he just like went downhill.
We learned about Bennington's whores.
Yeah, and so it's just like, yeah, like you said, he is just like a spokesperson or like a poster child for PGA, but that just means you've probably been used and abused. Actually, I heard a good line about Marilyn Monroe. She was
I feel so bad for that
so bad.
woman.
Rode hard and dry and put away wet.
They definitely killed her, right?
Oh, 100%. They killed her. They killed JFK. And I feel like Jackie has a little bit of something to do with that. She was like, you know what? Fuck him. He's fine. Fuck it.
So
Whatever.
that's where this is so hard because I don't know who I feel more bad for. Are the people caught up in it or the people like They were programmed. Like that was a Jackie O and
She
Marilyn
kept her
Monroe.
mouth shut, yeah.
They passed information in between human beings by using them as like a trained robot and like a sex slave. I think that's why Austin Powers 2, now that I think about it, they were just confessing to all the things that they were doing. They were creating sex
That's
robots,
all it
which
does.
OnlyFans is. Sex robot people addicted to that take over their lives, and that was the version of mind control that they had back in the day.
They
and
still
it was
have
just
it,
gangsters. Oh yeah,
They
but
still have that. That's why and I feel like it's not like a commonly talked about thing. But when you get onto like threads or like into like intimate conversations with people, a lot of people are experiencing the same shit. There is a complete desensitization of like the whole sexual exploitation thing that's happening where you can see tits and you don't even be like, oh my God, tits. But you like,
you should.
and you should.
Yeah.
But it's so normalized that you're still like, men at least are still so like gravitated towards it. And they almost like don't even know why. And I feel like that's like a dopamine trickle, like where you get that and your brain's just like, oh, I need to go towards this thing. And it is a constantly like revolving door of dopamine trickles to like, but how could anyone like good for the people that are making money doing OnlyFans or like whatever. And maybe I'd have like sing a different tune if I was a dude, but like, how are you paying for this? Like, isn't Pornhub free? Like, don't you have a girlfriend? You can see her tits for free if you want. Just ask her. She'll be probably so much more elated to show you.
You would need to dive into the financials because I don't know. I know about the poverty in the United States. It may be because people are giving their money to OnlyFans girls, but it may also be foreign money that are paying American women to get naked on the internet, and there's no one jerking off to them. What they're trying to do is use this to corrupt society.
And be like, oh, people want to pay for it. But it's like scarcity, too.
So
it's
now
just like
you're
you have to
paying,
pay for it, pay to play.
But they're not paying them a lot. Like most people don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, I think the minimum you can set, because I had an OnlyFans for like fucked up plant. Like in flower. Dude, I made money during the pandemic off this shit.
Yeah.
I didn't have to show tits at all.
That's
it was
great.
like literally just like fucked up pictures of flowers or like plants.
So maybe you were taking money from Israel. Like, I don't know.
Maybe.
Or like
Fuck
Egypt or people that like.
Went in my pocket.
But I know. But that's the thing.
You know what? And that's the thing that'll get you. They got me. Goddamn. Yeah.
But
yeah.
now you're spending. And so if we do it with, I don't know. First, also, that's another closed system. So whoever is being promoted on OnlyFans is the mind-controlled person that they're trying to create.
Well, because they can... So I haven't watched the new season of Euphoria, but I feel like that keeps kind of coming out with like the whole Sydney Sweeney thing.
Yeah.
And how she is just like an exploited like sex worker, basically, that is just like...
The same way that Britney Spears was, the same way that Christina Aguilera was, Christina Applegate, and we forget so many of the names of the people. Like the 80s people, I don't even know. And there were 70s and 60s people before that. And they all just kind of disappear into obscurity when they're no longer useful.
Yes.
And if they ever talk at all about the abuse that's going on...
Then they're labeled as crazy or
Isaac
erratic.
Cappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amanda Bynes. That poor girl.
It's so sad.
Fucking used
It's
and abused
so
and just
sad.
like fucking...
It's
And,
so
and
sad
now
that-
everyone like laughs and they're like, oh my God, they're so crazy. Like, this is what happens when you're a child star. No, that's not what happens. Look at the in-between. What drove them to that? Like, they didn't just wake up and be like, I'm going to fucking shave my head.
Nope.
You're pushed to those things. Like, when there's no other option, you're like, I need to like...
Did I tell you about the security guard for Diddy that got in the gunfight in the Trump Hotel?
No.
So there's an awesome video of a security guard. He's hilarious. He was a rap security guard, and I forget what he used to do, but he worked for Diddy. And he disclosed a lot of the things that have now been disclosed to the public long before that happened. And he got caught in some sort of disagreement. I forget how it happened, that there was an actual gun shootout. And it's funny because he was running through a Trump lobby in his socks, but he slipped on, because they're marble floors. So he slipped and he got shot. But what he was talking about, he's like, they're all gay. And so now the cops,
90%.
the cops are interviewing him in one of those rooms or whatever. And he's like, I got to tell you all the things that happened. And he just starts telling the truth. But when you tell the truth to someone who is not trying to see the truth, they're like, oh yeah, Diddy's gay. And he's running a cabal of people that they're all like fucking insane men. Oh yeah, all the women that he runs around with, and they're eating babies, you said? Oh, they're eating kids, and they're trafficking women. The guy that flies around on private planes for but all that is true though.
Yeah.
And now that we know that that's true, what are the other things that you said, buddy? Because you was telling the truth. So now, let me hear all the stories.
But they probably like abused that so much that that person isn't even willing to open up their mouth anymore because they were made a laughing stock and they're like, fine, like I guess I just won't fucking say anything.
Well, you realize how isolated you are when you start to. There was also someone in the Atlanta airport who was causing a scene because they're eating children. And I forget the black guy. And they're like, they're eating children. Why aren't you doing anything about it? They're eating. And they're like, oh, turns out that guy was right. But they put that guy in a mental institution. I'm 100% sure.
See, but that's the thing too, is like they used to do that with like women. Statistically, they would put women in mental institutions who claimed that their husbands were abusing them. Because that's so outlandish. Why would he abuse you?
That's crazy.
What did you do to deserve that?
It's funny.
Now you get a lobotomy for free.
Now reverse engineer all that shit.
Yeah.
And you realize how fake this world is because only the people that are in control have been telling the stories.
Try to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I can't watch any of the history shit because I don't believe any of it.
Yeah, that too.
1776 and all that. Ugh.
And like for what though?
To manipulate our minds so that we believe that they're fucking
my whole
gods.
issue is like, what's your end goal here? Because when it's just like the elite, if it's just like the 1% left over, do they really think they're not going to try to kill each other? Because they're all greedy. They're all just going to want what they want from each other.
There's a weird. When you go down this rabbit hole, right? These people are trying to live forever. But that becomes a prison, though, right? Do you understand how that becomes a prison?
Yeah.
So it's like there's a beginning of time and there's an end of time, and you're stuck traveling in between the beginning of time and end of time if you can live forever. So these are trans-dimensional trillionaires who are now stuck inside this sold reality to us, and they can't do anything but get back and forth. So they're manipulating us to steal our energy to like.
I wonder if this is why vampires became so like
interdimensional
popular.
trillionaires.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because that's kind of all it is.
They're opening
that's just
up
like
portals.
Generational wealth. They like live forever, and they just get to do whatever they want. Hopefully, they just don't get caught.
It's all this.
You can't get caught in sunlight because then you'll be exposed, and it's like that's really.
What's the only natural disinfectant? Sunlight, right?
Garlic. Oh yeah.
Oh. But like sunlight will disinfect everything, and they can't.
Yeah.
It's all the same shit. It's all the same shit, but I appreciate you coming back on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This was awesome. DaisyFloral.com. And we don't know what she's going to be getting into. But you can come see her at the Village Tavern where, she's not going to be spending as much time talking to her tables as she does now.
Yeah, Kayla gave me a little
Did
tip.
she give you
She was like, it was like my first day being live. She was like, hey, just like a heads up, I think you talk too much to your tables. And I was like, all right, sorry, noted.
It's so funny because I noticed little things that I was going to tell you because Kayla pointed out to me. And as soon as she said it, I was like, you're right, she does.
Yeah.
And we can all stand there and talk to the table and definitely get a better tip. But you'll see.
But there's like
you'll see when we get into the season that we're working on like limiting that.
Yeah.
Because we do a different thing here. There's so many different kinds of waiting tables. But you also, did we have tourist season as big as we do? We go from one waitress to fucking 8.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I feel like we're starting that like slow build up. But the weather has not been playing along with that because I feel like we're pretty staffed. But then people just get like cut right now, or like I get a call and be like, "Hey, you don't have to come in right now. It's pretty slow."
They might be calling people, so it'll just switch.
Yeah,
and they'll be calling people in. They'll be like, "We're too busy. We need people." And just
I'm
one
fine
day,
with that.
one day it switches, but you won't have the time to do the things at your table that you're doing.
Yeah,
I love Kayla, and for whatever issues she has, she teaches me so much about waiting tables. Also, the way that she communicates. I was saying this the other day. Like when she's doing something, she'll shout it out. I'm going to get ice for the team. What are you doing?
Yeah.
We need plates.
Yeah.
Like that's on you now. Like what a great way to communicate.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't need to bark it the way that she does, but it lets me know.
She gets it done. As
opposed to me going to get the ice and being silent about it, and now no one knows that I've restocked the ice, and you don't know what I've done too.
That was kind of something that like Jess was saying. She wants to know when certain people are doing certain things, not even like extra or like in a bragging way, but you know who's doing what. And that's how you create like a good team.
Yes.
Because like
you understand what needs to be done and who's doing what.
Yeah.
And people.
And you need to be like a team player, especially working in a restaurant. You need to be able to get your shit done. And we're all like in the service industry. We're waiting on other people, but we're all like helping each other out at the same time. It's like if I can't flip my tables fast enough, I'm not making money. But so that kind of trickles down to like if I can't flip that table and make more money, that means I can't sell more drinks, which means the bartender isn't making as much money. So it is like a team effort.
If you can't flip that table, then the restaurant's not making as much money.
Exactly.
If you can only flip one table per hour and I can flip it 4 times, well then I'm going to make 4 times as much. So there's so much to it. Come down to the Village Tavern in Salem, Massachusetts, 168 Essex Street. Check us out. Check out the t-shirts that you can get only here. at the Village Tavern until they decide to come up with a way that we can sell these things on the internet at villagetavernsalem.com, guys. That's been the podcast. Do you have anything else you want to shout out? It's I'll put all your stuff, Instagram handles and your website on here on the screen.
I think that's it. Shout out Miami. Miami Vice, dude. If no one's watched that show, watch Miami Vice. It is star-studded.
Okay.
That's another thing. But yeah, other than
I'll have
that,
to get into that for next time.
DF. Oh, and if you have an album or creative collaboration that isn't a wedding and you need flowers for it, hit me up.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get a lot. I think you're gonna get a lot of people reaching out, and I think that we're on a path towards whatever fucking creative journey that you're gonna undertake.
Let's go. Let's
Hell
help each
yeah.
other out here.
Thank you for being a returning guest.
Thanks for having me again.
I appreciate it. Take back your consciousness. I love you, and we are out. If you want to find out where else you can listen to this broadcast and you're a human, you can go to MugsyTheCreator.com. If you're a robot, I got nothing for you. I mean, unless you can subscribe over here, or you can click this playlist. If you're a robot, you can do that. That would definitely help. Like, subscribe, whatever you want. Thanks a lot, guys.